Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Dallas, Oregon, a family moves to the country to avoid the dangers of the big city, only for murder to follow them home. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. We're excited this week. We're pumped. We're jacked. We don't have a live show to go to this week, so that's exciting. Thank you to everyone who came out to Seattle last week at the Neptune. What a great show that was. The crowd was awesome. You guys were so cool. Really awesome venue, the Neptune. We had a great time, so that was a lot of fun. So thank you, Seattle. Can't wait to come back at some other point in the future. Speaking of that, if you want to see us live, one show on the books right now. We're booking out the rest of the year, but right now, February 21st, West Palm Beach, Florida, at the West Palm Improv there. Get your tickets now at shutupandgivememurder.com, because that's going to be fun. It's a great club, too. Beautiful down there. So come check us out down there. Do all of that. Thank you to everybody who gave us reviews for this week. If you haven't yet, you can go on the purple icon there on your phone. If you're an Apple user, the iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say. It's not for our ego.
Never.
It's not to make us feel good, just to drive us up the charts. So please do that, or whatever podcast platform you listen to. If there's a review to give us a review. Shout it out. That's beautiful. Otherwise, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all things small town murder and crime and sports as well. Everybody, we cannot tell you enough. If we could recommend things, you read books that we recommend, you do stuff like that. The one thing we can recommend the most to you in this world outside of the wire is, well, not Jimmie, but for me recommending, is listen to Crime and Sports. Honestly, you do not have to like sports.
Never.
Start out with like a Tanya Harding, maybe from a few weeks ago, something that's completely non-sports, and then, it's kind of work your way in. It's really more about us making fun of idiots who have chosen to completely destroy whatever opportunity they've been given in life.
Just
so
disregard all opportunity.
It's amazing. So you got to listen to that. So go to the website, check that out. You can get all the merchandise on there, everything, shirts and mugs and bath mats and whatever you want. It's on there. The leggings are here, everybody.
Yay!
Go get your leggings on there. Go on and get your leggings. So go get your leggings. Get all that stuff on there. All the good stuff. And also you can do other things on there. Like you can follow links where you can donate. You can go to patreon.com/crimeinsports and you can donate there, or you can go to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. And you can make a one-time donation there. And I will tell you, we have Patreon rewards coming out of our asses very soon here. We do bonus thing for like a Stitcher thing, and we're going to do a completely different bonus thing for Patreon also as well. And we have
Tons of shit to mail out.
Tons and tons of stuff to mail out. Jimmie's going to go to the post office looking like Santa Claus.
Oh, boy.
And mail out all of this stuff. So thank you for doing that. And those things are on the way.
Speaking of Patreon, those bastards have us under not safe for work, and that's why we're not searchable. I've been trying to figure it out for a year.
So
why?
That's why you have to go to Patreon. You can't just go to Patreon and search for us, unfortunately, because they've deemed us as bad people that normal people shouldn't be able to search for as adults. So you have to go directly to that. So ridiculous, but
what an insult!
That's an insult, but that's
fine.
What a big
fuck you!
It is. That's we take a lot of that. You know what I mean? It's fine. And you know what we do with that? We take it and we do a disclaimer.
We do.
This is a comedy podcast, everybody. We're going to talk about murder. There's going to be murder, but we're comedians. We're going to make jokes. That's the thing. All the information's real. There's no lying. We don't make things up for the purpose of jokes or anything like that. But we are going to make jokes at the expense of people who deserve it. What we do is we try not to make jokes at the expense of the victim or the victim's family, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags. That's how it works here. So if that sounds good to you,
sounds good to me.
Beautiful. You're going to have a great time, and we're going to have a blast in the next couple hours, minus a drop of murder here and there. And if not, you think true crime and comedy should never go together? This isn't going to work out.
No.
Thanks for trying.
You've been sweet.
You thank us, we thank you, we shake hands, and we part ways and have a good one. But for everybody else out there, all the people who want to have a good time, I think you should shout out from the treadmill, from the window of your car, from your cubicle, unless you work at a conservative office. Don't get written up like that one guy,
Johnny. You're
3 write-ups for yelling "Shut up, give me murder" at work on consecutive Thursdays.
Timed everything.
So maybe if you work in a conservative office, go into the bathroom and say it quietly, and make sure no one else is in there, because that's really creepy if you say it quietly in a bathroom stall. Shout, "Shut up, give me murder. Let's do it." Let's go on a trip, Jimmie.
Terrific.
What do you say? Last week we were in Iowa. It's fucking Iowa, Ohio, Illinois. Never mind. So we were in Iowa last week. We're going to make a run out to the West Coast here. We're going to visit a state we've been to a couple times before. We're going to go to Oregon.
Oh.
Because there is weird shit in Oregon.
It is.
Let me tell you, Oregon, Vermont. Yeah. Wherever there's an abundance of trees, weird things happen. It's awesome. And we love Oregon, too.
It's a great state.
We've been there twice in the last year and had a great time both times. I love the people. The weed is legal. It's a wonderful place. It's a fabulous place in Oregon. But we are going to Dallas, Oregon.
No, we're not.
It's Dallas, Oregon. It's a place called Dallas, Oregon.
You dicks.
That's right. They did that.
Did they exist before Dallas, Texas?
What do you think? We're not going to discuss that in the town here?
I don't.
Calm down, Jimmy.
History,
hey,
not my
relax.
strong suit.
Hey, relax. We're going to get there. Dallas, Oregon. It's in, really? I had you for a full-on historian over here.
I don't know if we purchased Texas or if we purchased that area first.
Okay, well, we'll talk about
or
it.
Stole.
Well, that's the thing. We just take.
Yeah.
It's in Northwest Oregon. It's nearing that little panhandle.
Yeah.
It's getting close. It's on the road to the panhandle here, and this behavior is pure panhandle this week. This is a panhandle-y episode, boy. There's people who are upstanding as can be, and they're as panhandle as it gets. On the other side, it's insane.
Marvelous.
This place is about 25 minutes outside of Salem. It's like almost in the suburbs of Salem, I guess you could call it. It's just outside of there. It's about an hour and 10 to Portland, about 4 hours and 20 minutes to Cave Junction, which was episode 89, which was the last time we were in Oregon, and it was a good one. I'm telling you, these Oregon cases never disappoint.
It was Oregon also the one where the boy was tossed over the bridge?
I believe it was, yes.
So too.
Yeah, the one where we can't pronounce the name of the place.
All three of them is fucking crazy.
This is even crazy. I
hope.
This tops this is the cherry on the Oregon sundae right here. I'll tell you that right now. It's in Polk County, zip code 97338, area code 503 and 971. All right. Throw that in there just in case for you goddamn slackers on the side need to have a different zip code or area code. It's 4.81 square miles, so in the middle, not really a big or a small town. Motto here, hard to find a motto, but what I have seen is on the website, around it says, I assume this is their motto, because it's got a wine bottle there.
Oh, boy.
And it's, because I guess they grow a lot of wine here.
They do.
It says,
they grow grapes.
Grapes. Well, yeah, they don't grow. Hey, look at that. It's a nice bottle. It's a great label this year that's coming out of the ground. It's beautiful. The artwork on this is fantastic. Quote, uncork Polk County.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Or there's an alternate one.
Yeah.
Because this was one where they thought about it and they said, well, let's try uncork Polk County first, and then we'll go to this if that doesn't work. Quote, it's probably raining, so let's get shit-faced. I mean, I'd say good, but some people that might be a little aggressive.
This is wine weather.
It's wine weather, and then we have wine for that matter. And now, history of this place. Now, of course, the only people really living along here, it's along the banks of the La Creole or La Creole. It's spelled like Creole.
Really?
La Creole River. That's where this place is, along the banks of.
La is in L.A. or L.E.?
L.A.
Okay.
Like French, like La Creole. Creole, like Creole.
Okay.
Like down in
fucking Louisiana.
Creole country, goddammit.
Louisiana.
So before the 1840s, it was just Native Americans there and a few French-Canadian fur trappers. So just
chasing those beaver pelts.
Native Americans and going, where's the beaver? I cannot find where did it go? I don't know. The fucking beaver, asshole beaver. Fuck it. I do not hunt them anymore. I don't care. I just smoke in the woods from now on. That is it. So those guys here, that's where they apparently got the name of the river, through the French-Canadian aspect of it. That's why it's the La Creole. Wagon trains, though, first arrived in 1843 with white people pouring out of them with fucking axes and let's dig some shit out of the ground and do some stuff here. These were pioneers. They settled right on the riverbanks at first, as they always do, as everybody always does. Now, Dallas was settled in the 1840s on the north side of a creek. It's originally named Cynthiana.
Yeah.
Like the name Cynthia, but Cynthiana. Now,
that is somebody's name in the South, I guarantee it.
Oh, it is. Yeah. No, it could be a town, too. You never know here. First, they're saying that it was called Cynthiana after Cynthiana, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Which was the hometown of somebody's wife, Mrs. Thomas Lovelady.
Oh, okay.
Was her name.
Were you going to call her Thomas?
I was going to. Well,
what was that?
They abbreviate her name in this one article, and I copied it down directly to get a name right, but they abbreviate it TOMAS. it's THOS period.
Okay.
So I'm like, Thos? What the fuck is Thos? And I'm like, his name is Thomas. What am I doing? So yeah, it said that she was given the honor of naming the new settlement, and then she named it after her hometown. And another source claims that the origin might have been some guy named Jesse Applegate's wife, whose name was Cynthia Ann. So they fought to the death in the apple orchard. No, they didn't fight to the death in the apple.
I wish they did.
Wouldn't that be great if these two women fought to the death in the apple orchard over the name of the town? They wanted the same name, mind you, but just who gets credit for naming it? I think that would be awesome. I guess this Jesse Applegate was a pioneer who led a huge group of settlers along the Oregon Trail. Many of them died of dysentery and cholera along the way. They were buried. They shot many buffalo, which is hard because you had to wait for them to get to a certain spot and then shoot the bullet and wait for them to connect together. And hope that you led him perfectly. And it's a tough life on the Oregon Trail. I know. Yeah. I've spent much time on the Oregon Trail as a kid.
I was forced to.
Oh, yeah. And computer lab that we used to have when we were little kids, and you'd have the fucking DOS disc that started up, and then you get Oregon Trail at the end. Either that or Carmen Sandiego. Yeah. Those are your options.
But watching that little wagon with the wheels spinning.
Oh, it was fantastic. That was great. Oh, God. That was my life as a kid here. So he was an influential member of the early Oregon government and helped establish the Applegate Trail as an alternative route to the Oregon Trail and a less successful video game, unfortunately. I never once played Applegate Trail as a kid, but I played Oregon Trail a whole shitload. So, who knows? He's not that successful, apparently.
Maybe his game was just a lot easier to make it. That's all.
He made a better shortcut, and they're like, nobody dies.
We don't
and
have to cross rivers and shit. There's no snakes up here.
Nobody dies. No snake bites. You don't have to hire an Indian to help, and no fording the rivers. It's
Cholera
fine.
And dysentery stay on that trail.
It's on that side of the river. So, Jesus Christ here. But they say it's probably not her. It was probably the first thing named after the town in Kentucky. The Dallas Post Office was established in 1852, although it wasn't Dallas yet, as we'll talk about. In 1856, the whole town was moved a mile south.
How do you, what?
A
mile?
They picked it up and moved it more than a mile south because they had an inadequate water supply.
That seems like an awful lot of work.
That seems like a lot. They were there 15 years and they were like, there's just not enough goddamn water. You know where there's way more water? About a mile that way. Well, just pick all our shit up and move.
Well, why don't you dig a trench and a pump?
They just moved it.
And get the water to you.
Nope, they just moved the whole thing. We'll just move all of us. Never mind moving the water. Just get all our stuff and move it.
It's an awful lot of fucking
Isn't that
work.
Weird? I just pictured like Blazing Saddles, like they're making an alternate town that people are.
It's a facade town.
What the hell? When they get to this town, they're gonna be like, "Where'd the town go?" It's just a facade. They've taken everything behind it to the new place.
All the people are wood too.
Yeah. What the hell? Pushing people over and shit. Dallas was in competition with Independence, which is on the Oregon Trail, if you remember in the game, to be the county seat. These county seats, man.
Independence was the finishing spot, right?
That was one of the finishing spots. Yeah. And it was to be the county seat, and the citizens of Dallas raised $17,000 in order to have a branch of the narrow gauge railroad come to their town, and that got them the county seat.
All right.
So look at you here.
Go fund
that line was 17 grand was a lot to raise in the 1850s.
That's a shitload of money.
That's a shitload of money for a small town to put together. They must have had some rich benefactor here. So they needed a better name than Cynthiana. So because it was the county seat, they can't have Cynthiana be the county seat. And George Mifflin Dallas was vice president under James Polk for who the county was named. So they picked Dallas as a natural choice. That's what they said. It was obvious. It had to be him. Problem was, this was incorporated into a town in 1874. And then finally turned into a city in 1901, and Dallas, Texas was incorporated in 1856.
Okay.
So they beat you to your fantastic idea, assholes. So
you should have called it Mifflin.
Yeah, exactly.
Mifflin, Oregon.
It wasn't that, or they could have just made it Polk, and you could add Polk in Polk County.
There you go.
There you go. Why not? You could do that.
It's exhausting.
It's very exhausting. But I mean, I don't think Dallas was that big of a city yet, but they still beat you to it. You had to have known of its existence.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd check.
It's pretty fucking popular.
If we were going to start a new podcast, we'd make sure no one else had the same name of the podcast. I would assume. Helpful. So you'd be like, anybody else name this? Oh shit, those fucking Texas assholes. Now, 1903, the first train runs from Dallas to Falls City. And this is a big deal. Yeah. And they get passenger trains on regularly scheduled trips all the time.
Okay.
It's a 40-minute trip to Falls City from Dallas, and a one-way trip costs 35 cents.
Oh,
which is
a deal.
Yeah, but the 1903, that's not cheap.
35 cents?
35 cents is a lot of money in 1903.
$35 back then?
I don't know exactly,
Probably
but it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's not. It's your average person that's to go, like, if you were going to go there twice in a day, 70 cents a day in travel would be prohibitive.
If you're working up there too, that's not conducive to a living environment.
Yeah,
supporting a family.
This seems like you'd go on like a Sunday to like see the out. I guess I don't know. This seems like expensive. Yeah, Willamette Industries was founded in 1906, and that at the time the company name was the Willamette Valley Lumber Company.
Yeah,
a lot of lumber in this area, all sorts of lumber. In 1967. The Willamette Valley Lumber and a bunch of other companies made the Willamette Industries. And Willamette Industries was acquired by, Weyerhaeuser? What the hell do you say
Sounds
that?
Good.
Weyerhaeuser, W-E-Y-E-R, Hauser.
Weyerhaeuser. Yeah,
Weyerhaeuser.
Yeah, that's Weyerhaeuser.
Okay. Well, they took over this in a hostile takeover.
Really?
Yeah, they took over Willamette Industries, who has been around since 1906 in this area as an employer.
What's a hostile takeover of a business? Is that like guns and shit? Or is that
they come in on horseback. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That it's only legal on horseback. That's the thing. If your company officers have to ride up in their suits and ties and everything with their secretaries behind them on horseback, and they have to hostily there's a sword ceremony. The other CEO has to give over his sword in a gesture of just of the dominance to the other side.
White flag wave.
Put
a white flag on the end of your sword,
and that's how it works.
Over.
Yeah, on the end of your typewriter back then, or whatever they fucking had. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's you know what a hostile takeover?
No,
it's a stock thing.
Oh, is
it's
that
a stock thing? Yeah, you take over
their shit.
You buy a bunch of their stock to have a controlling interest in the company.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, because whoever controls these companies, they don't have a controlling interest. Right. They'll just have like 20% of the stock, which is more than anybody else does. So people will go around and acquire more than 20% from other people, then you control the company.
Wow.
So that's how it works. Yeah.
How's about that?
Oh boy. Yeah.
That is warfare.
That is warfare.
That is white collar, white man warfare.
Legal on a horse.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
You show up with all your paper
at the
stocks.
end of your sword.
Yeah.
And then
I own them all, motherfucker.
If you fall off the horse, it's all off. You lose. It's all off.
Don't stutter.
It's old Weyerhaeuser here took it over in a hostile takeover. It's one of the world's largest private owners of timberlands, this company, so that's why they took it over.
Not the boots.
Not the boots. Right. No, that would be a lot. That would be a
shitload of
boots. We
just
own warehouses of boots. You know what? We like the boots, and we said we think these boots are going to be something for a long time. We bought warehouses full of them. We own them all. That's why we named our company that.
Right.
So they owned or controlled nearly 12.4 million acres of timberlands in the U.S.,
Holy shit.
Which is fucking insane here. In 2009, their mill there formally closed down its Dallas operation. So they took over the other place in 2002, and then in 7 years, shut that place down that's been open for over 100 years, providing jobs for the area. So, nice. Thanks, corporate takeover assholes.
That is shitty.
That is shitty. I have a resident review here, and it is scathing and hilarious.
Really?
This person has very specific beefs. These are my favorite resident reviews. When it's not just like, I don't know, it's kind of, I don't really like the people here. When it's specific and you can tell that he's mad at this person is mad at like two people in town and is going to fucking just fire from the hip. Resident review, quote, I have never had such hateful, terrible people for neighbors like those at Ceres Glen. I guess this is a
apartment complex or something,
or houses here, because the quote, the HOA here acts like a Supreme Court with a bunch of old geezers and hags who harass and egg on the abuse. It's like living in behind the Iron Curtain.
Oh my!
Holy
Lord.
Wow, that's a real
is that Russia.
That's the communist, the whole communist Soviet bloc. there. They come onto your property and pull out your plants. Jesus.
You can't do that.
They report you to the multiple committees they have. If you like living in hell, smothered with elder abuse, move to Ceres Glen.
Wow.
They have multiple CC and Rs, which they don't apply properly. I don't know.
Those are the rules and regulations of the city.
Okay.
Of the HOA.
Well, they don't apply them properly, apparently, according to this person here. If they don't like you, they will try to make you move. If you don't, they will find any infraction and fine you and attempt to foreclose on your home. They also take your property away through easement and give it to your neighbor for use as if they own it up to your wall. Good Lord. It's a zero lot line situation. This person's very specific. It's an ugly old place to live. So, not a happy camper there.
Also, all of his complaints are just basically HOA complaints. Those are all fucked up.
It's all based on one housing community. Yeah. The whole town can be great outside of this. He doesn't give a fuck. He is just blowing this whole place away.
Outside of these walls, it could be paradise.
He wrote that just on a place about the city. It had nothing to do with this housing thing. It wasn't like a like their website that touted houses. Nothing like that. So it makes no sense. Weird. Population in 1900, they had 1,271 people. And now, as of now, they have 15,277 people, which is up 62% since 1990. Up
Even
a lot.
though the fucking factory closed.
Doesn't matter. Still, because people are flocking to the Northwest there. And Portland has gotten very expensive. Yeah. Seattle, the Northwest is expensive. So you have to be a little rural, I think. So people, when we were in Portland, doing shows, you talk to Uber drivers all the time. None of them lived in Portland.
That's true.
They all lived out in the suburbs because it was too expensive, they said, in Portland. But it has never gone down in population since 1890.
How about that?
It's up every single census every 10 years. The population has risen since 1890, which is impressive. I don't think we've ever seen that before. Median age here, 38.9, which is about a year older than normal. Nothing major there. More females than males, though, here, by not too much difference, but more than normal. More 5-year-old to 14-year-olds in the demographics in that area, and more 65-year-old plus people, more old people. So there's more kids, more old people, equals average
That
age.
becomes a trend lately.
It is. It's weird.
Seeing that.
Yeah, it's whereas people of I guess career age, they go out to try to get careers, they leave, and then people, they'll either have the people with the kids that can't leave because they have kids stay, and then the elderly stay.
Got it.
And then everybody else flees. Yeah. And that's usually bad for towns.
And then they come back apparently because these towns keep growing.
And then they grow. Well, people move out here with their kids too, with the little kids. That's why you get the little kids. You'll get people that don't want to live in the city and they move out here because if they work in Salem, they can live out here and drive to Salem. It's only 25 minutes away.
Capital?
So we get to Salem is definitely the capital of Oregon. It's 100% the capital of Oregon and a disgusting menthol cigarette brand.
But not the witch trials here, correct?
No, that is the East Coast.
Okay.
Different Salem.
Massachusetts.
There you go.
Man, I'm catching
Look at
on.
you.
I am learning
all
some
history
shit.
tonight, Jimmy. You're all history. You're ready to teach a fucking class. Professor Whisman is class is in session.
Professor Whisman here to ask all of you questions and validate my
and once in a while when he gets
knowledge.
one right.
Yeah.
Imagine if a teacher did that, went out in front and threw stuff out. Is that right? It is? All right. Okay. All right. Well, next thing. That would be amazing. I want to take that class.
Today we're talking about Oregon, where the capital is Salem. Is that right, guys?
Yes. All right.
All right.
Sweet. All right.
Salem, Oregon.
All right. So, like I was saying, that's where they had the witch trials? No, Massachusetts. Okay. Never mind. Okay, good. Historian Jimmie Whisman. Jimmie Whisman's hardcore history we're going to have. Fuck Dan Carlin, step aside.
Yes.
Jimmie Whisman coming through.
You may move, sir.
Yes, sir. Married population here is almost 56%, which is higher than normal because we have, like I said, this is families with little kids move out here.
Got it.
And elderly people who still live here. The never married population's low. Single with no children is low. So it's not the party place. It's a family kind of place. Race of this town. Pretty white.
Yeah.
As we're, a rural Oregon town, you don't expect to be just, 75% black usually. It's 91.5% black. So or white, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Because I was joking before. You were like, wow, weird.
What are you doing to me right
white.
now?
It is 0.16% black. So not a lot.
0.0.
No, 0.16% black,
so
which is
a tenth of a percent.
A tenth of a percentage.
That's crazy.
0.76% Asian.
Yeah.
So not even 1% Asian in the Pacific Northwest, which is impressive.
Yeah.
It's not impressive like it's good, but it's rare.
Impressive to get it that low.
Well, but again, we said that wrong again. Jesus Christ. Not impressive in terms of that. You know what the fuck we're talking about. It's just weird. It's an aberration statistically.
I tried to
weird.
fix it and made it way worse.
Way worse. Way worse. About 4% Hispanic here. So it's white. It's a rural Oregon town. It's white. Religion here. Now this I like here. Only 24% religious here. It's usually 50-50. So way low here. It's wild here. Yeah. And there's not a real dominant. Most people are, other Christian is a big one, and also the Mormons are here too.
Are they? That makes sense.
LDS are up there.
Idaho
also.
and all that shit up there.
Yeah, they've snuck in as they're tied with the other Christians. 0.0% Jewish,
none,
and 0.0% Islam.
Okay,
so over 15,000 people. They have no Jewish people here.
One.
I don't know. Well, not enough to register statistically.
Yeah.
So I mean, they might have a couple, but they're not talking.
Right.
They're fucking hiding out or something. I don't know. They're not being counted. Put it that way.
Are you Jewish, sir? Who's asking?
Who's asking? Who are you? No, I'm not. Are you with the county? No, I'm not. I'm not at all. Here, this is the most independent voting we've ever seen here. Last election, 40%, almost 41% voted Democrat, 47% voted Republican, and 12.2% vote independent.
That's
which
Oregon.
Is that a lot? That's more than enter. And that's these people, as we'll talk about, like our people here, they're moving here to be different and to get away. Right. Unemployment rate here is about the same as usual. It's a little under 6%. Nothing too crazy. Median household income in the country, it's about $54,000. Here it is about $50,000.
Okay.
So it's a little bit low. All the $75,000 a year and under, that's all high. More people than normal. Yeah. And all the $100,000 a year plus income levels are all lower than normal. So it's not that affluent here. Okay. A lot of the jobs, there's some manufacturing jobs, some construction jobs because people keep moving here. So that's a big thing. Retail trades, kind of a big deal here. Not a lot of white collar jobs here, not a ton. Public administration, for whatever that is, there's a lot of that.
Government stuff.
I assume old people, there's more health care than normal.
Would you call this upper middle class?
Not really, no.
It's just middle class?
This is a middle class type area. This is like where the Goonies live without the ocean.
Okay.
This is how I feel like without the water.
I guess I consider upper middle class to be around $70,000, but
I suppose, but nowadays, not now. Yeah. Now that's
not really that.
It depends on where you live.
Yeah.
If you live in some of these towns we've covered where the median home cost is $42,000, you live like a king there. But if you live in some of these places, like we'll talk about here, the cost of living, 100 being regular average par. Here, cost of living is 114 overall. Housing is 148, and the median home cost here is $278,000. So it's a little pricey here. Most of the houses are between $150,000 and $300,000. About 60% of the houses. And if we've convinced you to move to Dallas, not Texas, but Oregon, we have for you the Dallas, Oregon Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental that I found here is about $1,160, which is about $100 under the average for the country here. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath foreclosure.
Yeah.
This is the bargain here. Foreclosure, 1,436 square feet. Nice little house here. Not little, just a nice house. $174,900. Very reasonable.
Absolutely.
Very reasonable here. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,813 square foot, a little bit bigger, a little bit more little roomier, a little bit nicer. $235,000 for that. That one is a for sale by nobody making a profit there. It'd be higher. I also found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,943 square feet place. This place is nice. Nice outside too. Very nice. Nice curb appeal here. $699,500. So you're going to pay for quality up in the Pacific Northwest there.
That's pretty impressive, though, still, to get a home under $1 million, and that's that big.
I would say so. I think it's just, it might be just that house doesn't, maybe it's expensive if the houses don't flood too much. Maybe that's it. Like, if the basement floods a lot, then it's not worth shit. Now, things to do here. Oh, boy. Jesus. The Dallas Summerfest. Holy shit. They look forward to 3 days of fun in the sun or the rain, more than likely, but
fun in the clouds.
We'll get shit-faced. We have wine, remember? Jesus Christ. They said the general information on this on their website, quote, there are a ton of community events throughout the 3 days. That is way too vague. A ton?
Tell me what it is.
Well, what is that? We encourage you to keep an eye on the schedule on our website, which doesn't have any information on.
Is this Ja Rule and McFarlane putting this festival together?
This is like the mini Fire Festival. Well, at least they had people booked and they told you what it was. It was just a lie. Right. They don't even have anything.
So vague. It feels
ton of stuff. Come down to the Bahamas. We got a ton of bands, ton of villas, just a ton of. If you haven't watched the Fire Festival documentaries, either one on Hulu or Netflix, you're missing out, because if you want to hate a guy,
boy, is he hateable. His face is so punchable.
You just want to you don't even want to punch him in his face. You want to punch him in his fat tits. Give him a left hook to the fat tit. That Billy McFarlane.
It's fascinating that he doesn't.
He brings that out in you like you're 12. Yeah. You just want to be like, you fat tit fuck. You just want to drill him. And it's a weird thing.
He dresses like he's not disgusting.
It's a weird. It's the thing. It's just, he's an asshole.
He is.
So they say for 3 days, our beautiful Polk County Courthouse lawn holds about 70 booths providing food, retail products, commercial information, and arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Then we shift to the Dallas City Park, where we have wild orgies at the break of dusk. For breakfast, a car show, art in the park, and wild orgy it does now. And the Bounty Market. So yes, and also they have Dallas Freedom Fest, which sounds frightening.
Yeah, it does.
Anything in the Pacific Northwest with the word freedom in it, that's militia-y to me. There's a lot of
that sounds scary.
Bingo and food trucks and beer garden and automatic weapon firing. It's going to be quite the day.
Were all those things really involved except for the automatic?
Except for the automatic, yes. Right. Bingo, food trucks, fireworks, a barbecue competition.
Yeah.
Get down to Roger Jordan Community Park on the 4th of July, everybody.
It sounds like gunplay is next.
Oh, absolutely. They have a beer garden, so yeah, of course. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here, is about property crime's about 20% low, so it's a little bit on the low side, and then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. Don't forget about that one. The Mount Rushmore of crime. It's about 40% low.
Wow.
So this is a safe. This is a safe rural town.
Okay.
This is not anything, there's nothing, not a lot of craziness going on here. Nothing, this is a place that you go, you take your family when you want to be safe and you want to have that sort of thing. And speaking of that, let's talk about a family who did just that.
Right.
Let's talk about a murder.
Okay.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Let's do it. So let's talk about the Jondals. Okay, is their name. Jondles.
Yeah.
The Jondal family. Okay. We have David Jondal, who is the father here. He goes by Scott. His middle name is Scott, and he goes by Scott. That's what everyone calls him.
That's not short for David.
That is not short for David. Name's David. I go by Scott. All right.
That makes sense.
Sounds great.
You're a lunatic.
Those don't make any sense, but nice to meet you, Scott.
We're going to hang out until I find out how crazy you really are.
Yeah, because Scott, no. It's like, did somebody confuse you for Scott when you were 7 and it's stuck or what? But
so his middle name is Scott?
Middle name Scott. He goes by Scott. And his wife, Marilyn Jondal, they have a very nice family. Yeah. They are a military family.
Fuck yeah.
They move around a ton, obviously, because that's what a lot of military families do. They're moved around a lot. David here, or Scott, as he likes to be called, Scott was an Air Force captain. Yeah. So he's in the military for a while. He's a career guy. They move all around. And then once he gets out of the Air Force, he ends up becoming an engineer programmer at Lockheed Martin.
Oh.
In Silicon Valley out there somewhere. So, I mean, this guy, he's a smart dude. He's an Air Force officer who becomes, has like a high level job at Lockheed Martin. He makes a really good living.
Fuck yeah, he does.
And he does well for himself, put it that way. So he's a real, the best way, everybody describes him as just the most upstanding, stereotypical, like military guy that just very posture and everything's very honest and everything, everybody likes him. No one ever says a bad word about old David Scott here.
Military turned him good,
and I always like Air Force guys. I gotta say, every Air Force guy I know I tend to like for some reason. They always have a good sense of humor.
People in other branches of the military will tell you the people in the Air Force are dickheads.
Yeah, well, I find them funny.
Yeah, I do too.
Find them sarcastic, funny, and they like to mock other branches too, sarcastically, and they usually have good jokes, which I find impressive. Sorry, everybody.
Take a little bit. Never mind. That's just going to insult people.
Yeah, don't
Never
insult
mind.
anybody. We like all of them, so it's all good here. So anyway, they move around a lot though when he was in the service, and that's moving this whole family all around. We'll talk about they have kids, and they end up homeschooling the kids because they move around so much.
Yeah.
And they're very religious also. That's the other thing. This guy is a fucking square. If nothing else, he is a square. I mean, it's the only way to describe him. A super religious family Air Force guy.
Yeah.
Square as fuck.
Even after he retires, he shaves every 2 days.
Oh, every morning.
Yeah,
he's got a routine.
He's got coffee, drinking coffee through the
He gets a haircut
lather.
every 2 days. I'm getting a little growth here. I got to get in there to the barber. Jesus Christ. Look at me.
Can you line me up, Ed?
Look at me. Good God. I look like a fucking hippie. Some guy outside tried to sell me a dime bag with this hair. This is terrible.
Ridiculous.
Need to trim it up. On vacation, he's getting where's Dad? Oh, he's getting a haircut, kids. It's okay. We're only gone a week. He needed a haircut. Sorry.
This is the most fascinating thing. He was in the military and went to Lockheed, and he lives in Dallas now.
Well, we'll talk about that. He started out in Silicon Valley and doing all of that. And then
I know somebody that was in the Air Force, works at Lockheed, and lives in Dallas, fucking Texas, though.
Yeah, he lives in the real Dallas, not this Dallas. Not this crazy fucking facade of Dallas that they moved a mile and a half down the road. Now it just makes me think of Blazing Saddles because I picture they moved the city of Dallas, Texas a mile and a half down the road and pretended it was there.
Just for water.
Yeah, that's it. And Gene Wilder helped and it was great. So Gene Wilder, all the black guys, and they won.
Both of them.
And they win in the end.
Yeah.
Well, no, there was a lot in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, there was.
They went and got the whole crew.
That's right. Yeah.
Cleavon Little woke them up.
Yeah, well, I guess Dallas does have a pretty high population.
Texas?
Of black people. Yeah.
Shit, it does. Yeah. Dallas is a colorful town.
Yeah, it is. I was just being fucking coloring it all super white.
No, this Dallas super white. The other Dallas, little everything over there.
Bag.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, shit, we were in Dallas. It's everybody there.
That city is
Dallas
growing
is
like
cool.
fucking crazy.
I like Dallas. I thought Dallas was pretty cool. Like
Great
the people
place.
were awesome. That was a great crowd. That's how we judge cities, by the way. We judge cities.
Our people.
We judge cities on food and if the crowd was good. That's it. Like they're a fun crowd and they have good food.
Yeah.
That's a great city. We could go to fucking Manila in the middle of like one of Duterte's fucking crackdowns, and we'd be like, if it was a good crowd, we'd be like, it was great.
Food was plentiful.
We got a good pizza. It wasn't bad.
I didn't even shit.
And didn't make us sick, and the crowd was fantastic. So we had a blast. I don't know.
Seattle could have taken a dive real fast if there wasn't that dispensary right next to Subway.
Walk into a Subway because that's how we roll. That's what you do. When you're a podcaster on the road, you got a live show and hundreds of people coming to see you, and that's how we roll. Is we're like, we got Subway. We're not.
We trust that shit.
Yeah. Well, not only that, we're like, we could both eat for under $20. This is great. This is fantastic because we're cheap and we're trying to
tip.
We're trying to not
tip anybody.
No, we're trying to not lose money going on the road.
Exactly.
So we get to Subway and then there's a goddamn dispensary right next door. And I said, I like Seattle.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
I can't find it. You're looking at your phone. There's no dispensary within 5 fucking miles. And then we get to Subway and you go, Jimmie, that's weed.
I go, that's weed. That says 21 plus right there. Recreational. Look at this.
The joint, that's weed.
Look at this. I'll be back in a moment.
We're going in there real quick.
Yes, we are. So they moved around, like I said. They end up moving to Polk County, moving to it's just outside of the Dallas proper here, there, because it's a farm. So it's a lot of times they're not in the town proper because they're it's a farm, for Christ's sake. There's not enough room for farms in a fucking town, in a 4 square mile town. So after all this time working as a software engineer, him and Marilyn, they say they're tired of the corporate life and they go to Polk County outside of Dallas to pursue organic farming.
Oh, you know what that means.
So no, actually not.
They're actually going to grow tomatoes?
And animals, and they're going to grow. They're going have a farm. They're inspired by a book, Joel Salatin's book, You Can Farm. Apparently, there's another one too. I can't remember it here, and I forgot to write it down.
Doesn't matter.
Omnivore or something. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it, but that was another book that they were very into.
The author's root word of their last name is salad.
Salatin, not salad.
Okay.
That would be amazing. Joel Salad's book, You Can Farm. Carrot Salad's book. So You Can Farm. So based on this book, they decide to buy a 210-acre farm.
My word.
210-acre sustainable farm. That's the whole thing. They're all into sustainable food, and it's a very like organic, very like, grass-fed or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
How did they turn a military man into this?
A military, they love it. And at one point, I guess they contacted the author of that book to get tips and shit like that.
Jesus.
They call their farm the Abundant Life Farm. That's the name of their farm. They created a sustainable agriculture model rooted in free-range grass-grazing animals. They raised cattle, pigs, sheep, ducks, and chickens. The family worked the farm as a team, and Marilyn homeschooled their sons.
What is this, 1842?
Yes, this is Little House on the fucking northwestern prairie. This is that's what I mean. This is
Little House on the Swamp.
They go from like moving around Air Force to living like, Northern California, like, tech in the, tech and all that shit. And then they move to the extreme here.
Wow.
The complete extreme. Their sons are Wayne, Luke, and Andrew. Those are their three sons. Scott says, because they made a video, because this happened, this is, 2000, they moved here.
Yeah.
So, in the 2000s, they make like videos and put them on YouTube, promoting their farm and shit like that. And like local people that are into that whole movement and the sustainability interview them and talk to them, and they talk about how great their fucking chickens are or whatever. Yeah. Scott Jondal says in this video, quote, "I was working in a cubicle. I was ready for a change." And then Marilyn says, quote, "We were looking for something to do that we could involve the family."
Oh, this'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
There's tons of fucking work.
Everybody up at 5.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah. So, Scott said, quote, he's talking about Lockheed Martin, "I would look out the window at work and say, boy, I'd love to be outside, especially on a nice summer day."
Careful what you wish for.
You're going to be outside a lot with a farm. So he says, "We leased our house, put all our stuff in storage, and lived in a tent trailer, all 5 of us, for 6 months. We wanted to make sure this was something we wanted to do."
Holy shit.
So rather than sell everything, that's actually smart.
Yeah.
That's actually like a dude who has his shit together. He wasn't like, "We're selling everything, we're getting a fucking farm, and if it doesn't work, we're going to die out there, God damn it. I'll kill us all." That's not what he said. That was smart. Lease the house, put shit in storage. Yeah. We'll give it a try. If it doesn't work, we can always come back, and I'll go back to Lockheed. We could always go back. Who knows if he took like a leave of absence or something at first. You don't know how.
It's still fucking brave to following any sort of dream is taking a huge chance, and this is a big fucking deal.
I would say with a wife and 3 kids, like, a couple with 3 kids, that's a wow, that's a risky
that they won't
move.
eat. What if the fucking crops don't come in, sir?
Hey, what if you're not good at this?
Right.
Farming, not everybody's a farmer. You know what I mean? What if you're just bad at this?
That's a fucking hell of a point.
What if you're just not good at this? What if all your animals don't come out right? You fuck them all up. I don't know. You don't feed them right. I don't know what you can do to fuck up an animal.
What if you can't get your animals to fuck at all?
What if you can't? Yeah, that's what I mean. What if you're not good at raising them? What if they taste like shit? Nobody wants them. You fed them the wrong. I don't know how long it takes to get in the groove of this. So
this is bananas.
It's a ballsy move.
It is.
And there's a lot of people out there who would probably like this too. Who dream about having the balls to do this, or the money to do this, or the whatever to do this. But these people, and a lot of things too. He's a military guy.
Yeah.
These military guys. One thing I'll say about military guys, not the one thing, but a definite positive thing about most of these guys that I've met is like, if there's some sort of obstacle, they're just like, well, you got to figure out just like how to do it. You just do it. So like that's an Air Force guy would like figure out. Plus, he's an engineer and a software guy, so he would map it all out and plan it out. I feel like,
and so engineer / military guy, you put those together, the regiment to follow,
and a Christian, hardcore. You put together that, and he's
going to be successful.
Anal, as fuck. That's an anal dude who's going to do things probably
How do tomatoes
correctly.
grow? By being anal,
by being super anal up your ass. That's how they grow. Out of my fucking tight sphincter. That's how they grow. These are tight sphincter tomatoes. You're going to love them. When they come out of your sphincter and it's tight enough, that's when they really burst with goodness and flavor. That's
upside down basket on TV. That's not how it's done.
The fuck? Only if it's out of your ass, then you got an upside down basket. So, Jesus Christ. So that's funny. Ass tomatoes. We've gotten there that quickly in this story. That's not far at all. So he says now, once they move, he's excited because he says, quote, now I just have to step out of my front door and go to work, and it's great. As a family, we're certainly glad we made the change. So they're excited, and then you see the kids in the background working, and, everybody's there, and it just looks like this wonderful, there's like they have these pigs, and one video they're just hanging out with the pigs and petting them, and they're so delicious, and everybody's smiling. It's this weird idyllic, like you said, like it feels like it's on YouTube. But we're somehow YouTubing the 1840s. It's a very strange deal here. It's somehow Little House on the Prairie was doing like a reality show.
Did he let his hair grow for this shit too?
Not much. Okay. Not much. No, he didn't have it like down to his shoulders. No. He's got a big ponytail now. He's just like, bro, I had it with the grind, bro, and I just decided I'm moving to the country, man. I'm just gonna grow pigs. And not weed at all. I don't grow weed at all, or mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms. Super
organic, but I do not mess with the earthly things that grow easily.
No, I just hang out on the farm because it's real moist here and stuff. So you can, just hang out on the farm. It's cool, man. It's all right.
A straight edge hippie.
Straight edge hippie, brother. You know how it goes. Praise the Lord, brah. And he does like a little little hang loose surfer move, and you're like, the fuck?
Doesn't make any sense.
Praise Jesus, brah.
God bless, brah.
Yeah. God bless, brah. Toke up. Yeah.
That's bizarre.
So their neighbor here who runs a farm, another guy that's been friends with them for years while they're farming, says that he talks about how strong their faith is. They're very much into religion. Okay. That is all they're into is farming and religion.
Got it.
Pigs and Jesus.
Yeah.
That's it. No time for anything but pigs and Jesus. We got hogs and we got Jesus.
That's very Koresh, right? Minus guns.
There's been there's a lot of smiling here going on. These are some happy folk out here
praising God and singing hymns.
It's a bunch of like Jimmie Carters running around, just big smiles and happy on farms. So another thing too, another reason why they moved here, not just for that, they were concerned, even though their kids are homeschooled. Right. So, I mean, they have control over these kids. They don't leave the house for school. So you have a lot of control over what comes into them, or what input they have. Sure. You have a lot of control over whatever's going into their input. And they still did not like the life in Silicon Valley, and they were afraid that the kids were going to be corrupted. Yeah. And they said that they were concerned about raising the kids in a, quote, corrupting place like California. Okay. And they needed to get out somewhere where they would be safe and not be, drawn into drugs and gangs and things, because homeschooled Christian kids with Air Force dads are always in gangs. It's an epidemic.
It's the first guy you recruit.
They don't even go to school, but they go out to get the mail. They come back, they're in a gang. You're like, will you get the mail, sweetie? And he's like, okay. And he comes back with colors on and tats, and you're like, what happened? He's like, fuck you, mom. And he kicks her in the chest, and you're like, what happened, dude?
A grill that says, fuck you, mom.
Fuck you, mom.
He just smiles and his teeth go out, fuck you, mom.
They got spinners on him. He's got spinners on his bicuspids. So he said that they felt like the Northwest out in this rural area felt more like God's country to them. Yeah. It's just the middle of nowhere. Yeah. It's so they made them. I feel like that God's country means there's less black people here. Possibly that's it, but I'm not sure.
Or it just feels like it because it's just you and God. That's all
that's
they can
it.
see.
That's all it's around.
There's nothing else.
You need to believe in God, otherwise you're very lonely. There's nobody else out there.
You need him to chat.
So yeah, they make the move. Like I said, Marilyn's homeschooling this whole time. They in this video they say, quote, "Our family strives to raise natural, wholesome, and delicious farm products in harmony with the Creator's design for consumers who care about the food they eat and how it is raised." So they're not fucking around.
Yeah.
They're seriously into this whole
dead serious.
This whole food movement here. So, which is fine. I'm sure they have delicious food. That's the thing. I'd love to eat that meat. It sounds great.
I'll try it.
I'll give it a shot here, but this is
it's a lot. It costs a lot.
Yeah.
It's like $3,000 for a steak.
It's a lot. Yeah, that grass-fed shit. Oh my God. I heard Joe Rogan talking about it one time.
Wagyu stuff.
Yeah, and he was trying to convince somebody that they should have it, and he's like, "No, it's like $72 a steak." And I'm like, "What the? Who the fuck eats that at home? Who's eating that?" You know what I mean? That's maybe on your birthday if you go out, but you're not eating that at home.
Sound a little removed from society there, Joe.
Yeah. Well, he'll even say like it costs money. You know, I do my thing and shit. He don't give a fuck. He's got like 8 jobs, so what the hell does he care? He's got money.
Joel McHale was telling me about
He doesn't feel bad about having money. Joe Rogan, he shouldn't. He guy does nothing but work.
Joel McHale on New Year's 2 years ago was telling me about how he's like, "You like steak?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You know what you need to try up in the Northwest? They got these Wagyu steaks." And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds great." And I'm like, what do they do? And then he's like telling me it's all about how it's raised. It's some Japanese thing.
It's a Japanese thing.
And then he's like, it's like $120, but for a pound.
Oh,
is that all?
Oh,
gee, Joe.
Wow.
Joel, that sounds real fucking.
Is the grocery store still open? Can I get there in time?
That's real affordable for a fucking family.
Thanks. Yeah.
And by the way, I made $50 for this show,
this
Joel.
Is great. Yeah. Thanks. I love that.
I can afford half a steak right now.
Was he complaining his plane was broken like Dave Coulier? Did you have that going on? Jesus
Joel.
Fuck, man. So they want the whole family involved, and the oldest son, Wayne, he has terrible hay fever.
Yeah.
So he hates farming because he's sick every day that he farms.
Yeah.
It's an awful, terrible experience for him, and he hates every minute of it that he's there.
That's something to do.
So that sucks.
We're going to start a farm. I've got hay fever, Dad.
I don't think they realized this
until it started.
And then they're there, and plus he's home, so he never even gets to leave. It's not like he gets to go to school and come home and like, oh shit, I'm going to feel like crap now. He gets up and feels like shit and goes inside and feels like shit and goes back out and works more and feels like shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So as soon as he could, he joined the military.
The boy did?
Yeah, Wayne, the oldest.
He's gone.
He's gone. He can't farm anymore. The military was way, favorable to farming for him.
And they lost a hand.
And he comes back with a stump.
Yeah. No, I mean, the family lost a farm hand.
I know what you meant. I just thought it was funny for him to come back with a wrapped up stump going, maybe I should have stayed on the farm.
Or he comes back and goes, that's the cost of not having hay fever. It's much better this way.
I like it. The middle son, Luke, at a very young age, not like illegally young, but, I guess super religiously normal age of 18, 19 years old, gets married and moves to Salem, which is right there. So, I mean, the family still sees him and shit, but he doesn't have to live and work on the farm anymore. He's now married and, half hour, 25 minutes away in Salem. So it's just Andrew and his parents are left over. Andrew's the youngest. Now, Andrew is he's very bored. He's a teenager. Yeah. And he said to be bored with farming, which what teenage kid? There's very few teenage kids who are like, I'm fucking farming, bitches. Yeah. Like there's no girls on the farm. Right. Like if you're a teenage boy, there's no girls. You better have strong Wi-Fi or else your balls are going to explode out there. Like there's not even anything to think about. You can't even see a girl to think about later. Like
unless you've got a badass tractor, the rest of it sucks.
Yeah, that could be fun if you have like cool equipment to ride around on and shit. But that would be cool until you're like 14.
Right.
And then you're like, I don't know what I know what I liked when I was 14. I don't know if that's what most kids like, but I'm
sure most kids liked
interested in girls and
girls and sports,
weed and sports and things of that nature.
I'm sure he's doing the same.
No, that's the thing.
No,
he's just hanging out on the farm. He's homeschooled during the day, and he farms the rest of the time.
Through it like that?
That's all he does.
Wow.
And his brothers are gone too, so it's just him and his parents.
Yeesh.
So imagine that, though.
He's tugging like crazy.
Oh, all your deal. It's just Bible, farming. You don't even have your brothers to fuck around with. And whatever. Nothing. Just your parents and Jesus and farming.
Oh, fuck.
That sounds... You'd be bored if you were a teenager with that scenario. Yeah, he's in his 14, 15 in these years. Anybody would be bored with that setup. But he is set to take over the business later on. The parents are saying that they're teaching him the ropes here. Okay. He helps out on the farm. He stays, does all the work, and they're showing him the ropes. And he says, and they say that he's going to take over the farm someday.
And they've done this for several years now.
Yeah, they moved there in 2000, and they're the 7-8 years they're going strong, and they're known as a very good farm. Like their meat is known as top notch meat, and everybody in the area says how great they are at having a farm and how great they are at everything. Andrew is I guess, like I said, supposed to follow in their footsteps. They said a neighbor here said that he always accompanied his father to the Salem public market to sell their shit, sell their farm stuff. He was described by a neighbor here as, quote, helpful, friendly, intelligent, and polite, if a little socially awkward. Which you might expect from a homeschooled kid who fucking lives on a farm.
The only people he knows are God and mom and dad.
That's what I mean. And the cows that don't talk back. So, I mean, what do you do?
That he names and then they kill.
Yeah. And then he's sad and he's like, well, I can't get close to another one. I ain't gonna get close to another one, damn it, Dad.
I always said I'll never do this again.
I'll never do it again.
Jesus, Pinky, I love you.
I love you so much. Now, they say this person says, quote, he lacked a lot of the social skills being out on the farm and didn't have a lot of kids to play with. He had a hard time communicating. He'd sometimes stand next to me for 10 minutes without saying a word. I'd go, what's the matter? And he'd go, I just don't know what to say. So that's to the point where he didn't know how to speak to another human being that was standing next to him for 10 minutes because he doesn't know what to say. Now, I am going to make a bold judgment on Andrew here. Not a judgment, but judging from everything I've seen in this whole story, and I've done all the research on this story, he's described alternately as intelligent and not too bright and simple and nice but socially awkward. I'm pretty sure he's autistic. Like very sure. Like it's exactly how you describe like my son and like I'm pretty sure he's autistic. Like very bright, but if you get him at the wrong time, you might not think that because they're focused on something else. And so it's and a lot of people judge intelligence on social interaction, which is not a matter. That's has nothing to do with intelligence whatsoever. How good you are socially.
That's not a good barometer.
No, I know a lot of people who are really good with talking to people and are dumb as shit. So it's just
that's a good point.
It's
both
the way
ways too.
It goes both ways. Yeah,
I know people that just don't want to talk to people and they're fucking brilliant.
I've seen it all the time, so it happens. So he's a little bit awkward. Never gets in trouble or anything like that, though.
People and they're dumb as shit.
How many times do you? It's true though. They're so comfortable. They're too dumb to realize that they're dumb. They're just going around thinking everything's great. In comedy, how many of those people do you fucking
Almost
run into?
every one of them. Yeah.
They're just thrilled with themselves and their own stupidity.
And they're fucking idiots.
And they're idiots. Yeah. And jobs. You work we've worked tons of blue collar jobs. How many guys do you get that are, hey, blah, 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 and they love cutting up and all talking. That? They're fucking 81 IQ tops, these fucking people. I swear to God. You know it. You fucking know it. You fine to talk to a bullshit about sports for a minute, but anything outside of that, they're like, huh? What? What are you talking about? We've all been there, you know? Jesus Christ.
They have their strong points and their strong things that they were interested in, so they learned about them. But the shit that they weren't interested in, you know what? I feel like we're talking about me.
No, we're not talking about you. I used to be a process server. All right, maybe a little bit. Maybe we're talking about it.
Yeah, it's a little bit me.
I used to be a process server. If you don't know what that is, it's if someone's suing you, the process server is the one who knocks on your door and hands you the papers and go, your wife never wants to see you again, and then gets in their car and drives away, and you never see that person again. I was that person, right?
Your wife never wants to see you again. And by the way, I probably won't either.
Bye. I don't want to see you ever again either. Thank you. This is the only time we'll ever see each other. This is the end of our relationship as well, sir. Here you go. So I worked in this office it was like a legal messenger office where there was a bunch of, and everybody that worked there was, none of us are educated. Nobody was educated. It was a bunch of people making fucking $12 an hour, driving around in their shitty cars, dropping
their
off
personal car.
Yeah, dropping off stuff at court and stuff like that. So I would go into the office and I brought in a bunch of magazines because on the table where like the guys hung out, they had literally the only magazines were guns and ammo and like gun magazines and like Maxim and shit. And I'm like, we can't have this.
Can't do this.
So I had a Newsweek subscription and a Time subscription, right? And so I brought these in because I thought,
make them worldly.
You know what? Maybe they'll see something on the cover that'll interest them, and you never know. And plus, I might want to skim through this, because I might get sick of my phone and whatever. So I bring these magazines to lay out, and I put them there, and I leave, and I do my thing. And the next day, I come back, and they're gone. And I say, "Where the fuck are these magazines?" And everyone just kind of sits around. They used all those magazines to prop up the crooked Christmas tree stand. Otherwise, it leaned over.
That's hysterical.
And they felt terrible when they were like, I don't know, none of us are going to read that. And I'm like, where the fucking you people? And I just said, I had a meltdown in my brain. And I said, I got to change my life.
Unless there's a coverage of fucking like school shooters.
Yeah.
And guns and
then they'd be
guns
like,
being taken away. They're like, let's have a look at that one.
What kind of piece is he packing there? Let's take a peek there. I'm like, no, this is terrible here. So, but Andrew's a good kid. The family raises him. He's a little bored, whatever. Thomas Forbes is a neighbor of theirs. Mm-hmm. He said he describes them, the whole family, as friendly and hardworking. He says, we would always see them working on the farm every morning and every night, 7 days a week. He said they always move their cattle. They move their sheep frequently. They make sure the animals don't overgraze. They're highly, highly conscientious with these animals. And they make wonderful meat out of this, which sounds like, I bet their meat is delicious. I bet it's top notch, but like you said, $120 a fucking pound.
That's crazy.
So, things get a little weird in July of 2010.
Okay.
July 2010. Andrew, he's 20 years old now.
Okay.
Living at home, working on the farm, doing his thing, not having much of a social life or anything like that. Right. He finds a woman at this point.
All right.
He finds himself not so fast.
Uh-huh.
He finds himself now, not going to judge anybody, to each their own.
Yeah.
He finds an older gal.
My man.
He's 20.
Yeah.
He finds a 46-year-old woman, which, okay. Now, not to judge anybody based on looks or anything like that, but this woman has a goatee.
Oh my!
This woman is sporting like a Jim the Anvil Neidhart fucking goatee.
It's legit.
That you can see in a picture.
Oh my God!
Like it's frightening. It's a bit much. Let's just say, and for a 20-year-old, it's an odd choice.
Yeah.
But he like we said is excessively socially awkward.
Yeah.
And has literally, we don't know if he's ever talked to a girl like his own age. We don't know. Like we have no idea how much experience he has. So for him, I don't know how he would talk to a female human being.
Do we know if she just has like a hormone problem, or if this is like?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
Or
she's just an older lady who's got a little bit of extra hair in her family. Plenty of people do. It's not a big deal, but most people don't leave it.
Right.
Don't sport it.
That's
the difference.
Or
they
shave
wax it or something. They don't sport it like a.
Do you watch Embarrassing Bodies on Netflix?
Yeah.
That show.
It's frightening.
Should just be called England is Disgusting.
It's a mess. That show's.
There's a lady though with a beard though, and they get it lasered for her. But she comes in and she's like, I have this, and the lady in the doctor just goes, I think I see the problem.
Yeah, I think this is
fucking nailed it, doc.
Wait, don't tell me.
Yeah. Can I get two guesses? Two guesses.
Two. What the hell?
I may go real wild on the first one. Could it be the beard?
Yeah, possible.
Like her beard looks like yours right now.
Yeah. That's tough. Yeah, I got a good 5 days of growth there. So. It's just you don't see a lot of 20-year-old dudes going out with 46-year-old women. Yeah. Generally, you just don't see it. It's not common. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not common. Yeah. It's not a real common thing. But I mean, it's fine if you whatever. But it's just an odd relationship considering her. She's not like it's not like he met her at church or something like that either. Like she's got a weird past. Yeah. She's kind of like a local wackadoo, you could call her. She's like kind of the town crazy lady.
Really?
And this is who he hooks up with.
And that's who he's banging?
She's got a criminal history.
No.
Yeah, so this family, there is no criminal history in this family. We're talking about a square Christian Air Force farming family.
Right.
There's no... Police there's never a story that ends with, and then the cops came and broke it up with this family. It just doesn't end like that, ever.
It's funny that she's got a criminal record. The bearded lady should never be breaking the law.
No, probably
Can you
not.
do a sketch? Yeah, female, beard, done.
Goatee. Is there
Be on the lookout. You'll find her.
I believe she's Brett the Hitman Hart's tag team partner, if I'm not mistaken, when I was 9 years old. Is that a thing? Can we look for her? They were the champs for a while. No, they took it from the Bulldogs. I watched it.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
So, it's one. Look up Jim the Anvil Neidhart, by the way, and
you'll understand.
Yeah, you'll understand what we're talking about. So she has some issues. She has she has felony convictions.
No,
even. She has a felony conviction for theft in 1992. So this is when Andrew was 2 years old.
Right.
This woman was committing felonies.
Right.
With a beard. and it's just a strange relationship.
This is bizarre.
In 2004, she had a misdemeanor harassment conviction. So, she's not known as the most stable person around. And then in 2008, she has a felony criminal mistreatment conviction, and that's of her children.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, she has children, and she gets convicted in a criminal mistreatment charge.
Criminal
mistreatment. A felony.
Yeah.
Felonious mistreatment of children. It's very bad.
That's not good at all.
That's not just, you didn't let them watch cartoons or,
they didn't just skip lunch.
They didn't skip lunch. No. You didn't keep them out of school an extra 2 days if they should have. That's serious shit. There's something bad happened there.
There was somebody shitting in a Home Depot jug.
Yeah, someone came in and there was a bad situation.
And they're like, somebody's got felony charges.
Somebody said, who's in charge here? They're getting a felony because this is...
Where's the supervisor? She's going down.
There's a kid shitting in a cereal bowl in the middle of the living room. I don't think this is correct. This is wrong. This is wrong, right?
Yeah.
This isn't right. So, and then in March of 2009, this is, a year before they meet and hook up, Andrew and Cindy Lou. Her name is Cindy Lou Beck. Okay. That's her name. Cindy Lou Beck. Yeah. She, in 2009, her children are taken away from her due to more criminal mistreatment, taken away from her by the state of Oregon.
Wow.
So, her children are under state care, and she has to submit after March of 2009 to breath tests, urine tests, and undergo a substance abuse evaluation and have no contact with her children at all based on those charges. Yeah. So she's a fucking mess.
Everybody's gone through a rough patch.
Gone through a rough patch, and hers lasts from about 1992 to 2009. If we're gonna go, it's about a 17-year rough patch.
His whole life has been a rough patch
for her.
And then there's one on her chin also.
And then she's also got it's a little scratchy sometimes. So these two. As an understatement, they're an unlikely couple, I guess you could say. Yeah. You wouldn't expect, if you lived in town, you wouldn't say, let's say you were the town matchmaker.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, I got it. What about the military Christian family's farm kid and the criminal crazy lady with the beard who we all change sides of the street when she's coming down the other side? What about that? I think they'd make a good couple. I don't know. She's old enough to be almost his grandmother, but I think it's a good couple.
Exact opposites attract.
Exact opposites. And that's the thing. And they seem to like each other. Okay. That's the weird part. We'll find out about her. She's got issues and everything else, but, she is known, like we said, as the town kind of nut. A neighbor of hers, a woman named Christy Lee, said of her, quote, Beck's state of mind, that's Cindy Lou Beck, Beck's state of mind worsened after she lost custody of her children. You could see her start to lose touch with reality. Beck harassed the children who lived in the building.
My word.
So this is what she's turned into. This is what I mean. That's like in, 2009.
Yeah.
So this is before she meets and hooks up with this Andrew. You could see her losing touch with reality. And also, too, she went off the rails.
Right.
Her state of mind worsened. In other words, she was always fucking crazy, but once they took her kids away, she really fucking went nuts. Like, that was her extra crazy.
The train is off the rails.
It's been off the rails.
She's still shoveling coal in that fucking thing.
And now she's barreling right toward Main Street. Once they took the kids away, she turned the train toward Main Street. It was like, we're going right toward the sidewalk, motherfucker.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, she harassed children living in the building. She would yell at them, and she was really, everybody was afraid of her.
Okay.
And around her, all of her neighbors were, keep her kid. If she comes outside, it's, you put your arm around your kid and go, this way, little Johnny, come on, let's go. So, Andrew cannot resist, obviously, but it is a woman. So, if you're this Andrew kid, fuck, you've been who knows? We don't know what you've had access to as far as the female persuasion. So you're just happy that she's a woman at this point. You don't care.
Right.
The parents now, Marilyn and David here, or Scott, as he likes to be called. What do you think they think of this? You think they're very proud?
I don't know. It could go one way or the other. Because
could we throw you an engagement party?
No.
Okay. Throw an engagement party, but the parents hate this woman. They hate her fucking guts.
Yeah.
Hater. Number one, Andrew is distracted from the farm because he's got a girlfriend now. But number two, this isn't like what they had in mind.
Yeah.
In their mind, they're like Christian upbringing. They want him to find a woman, find a young lady, and get married and have a bunch of kids and take over the farm.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They don't want him to find someone their age with a beard
who's way worse than them
and who's going to distract them from the farm and has a criminal record and everything else. She is nothing like anybody they've dealt with or they deal with.
Somebody that may steal the pigs.
That's what I mean. She could very easily take them away. They don't know. And then she's had drug issues in the past and she got her fucking kids taken away. This is a tough explain when you bring her home.
Yeah. It's a hard sell.
This is Cindy.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Guys, I'm about to open the door, but
this is Cindy Lou. Couple things we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Number one, she knows the goatee is there. She doesn't care. I'm going to be honest with you. She doesn't seem to give a shit. So don't even bother. Okay. I'm cool with it and she's cool with it. So we're just going to let that slide. Number one. Number two, she has kids. Don't worry though. They're not with her. Why? State took them away. Felonious mistreatment. Yes, that's why. Yes, absolutely. So to make up for it, she's been harassing the neighborhood children and having the cops called on her and shit instead. So, it works.
The state took her from mistreating these ones. So she's mistreating everybody else.
She's got to find someone. She needs a child to mistreat. So whichever ones are around. Okay, I'm going to open the door now.
Ready? On three.
Mom, Dad, this is Cindy Lou. Cindy Lou, Mom and Dad.
Better known as your peers.
Yeah. He shakes her hand and he's like, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Can I offer you a razor? I just got a Harry shipment. Can I offer you? There's a plug for Harry's. There you go. So, this is fucking ridiculous. So, now, they said, a neighbor said how Cindy Lou Beck and Andrew met and why they wound up together is a puzzle, but it appears they got to know each other in the neighborhood. Apparently, she spent time at other residences in the vicinity of the farm.
Okay.
Apparently, she's hanging out all around here.
All the farms.
And spent time with her could mean anything. It could mean she was harassing them to the point where they had to call the police to tell her to go away because she has problems like that.
She was eating somebody's berries right off the plant.
Yeah, she's out there just nibbling on a corn stalk. That's not even the corn part. You're eating the stalk.
That's a wheat.
That's not even. Never mind. She don't seem to care. It doesn't matter.
She seems to be enjoying it.
It's caught in your. Never mind. Kernels are in your beard. Okay.
You got raspberry seeds in your beard, man.
Boy. So, this caused some unrest in the Jondal home. Mm-hmm. The parents here, Scott and Marilyn, are not happy. They argue with Andrew about this. They're telling Andrew, you can't be with this woman. And he's saying, I'm a fucking grown up.
Yeah.
And God damn it, I want some ass. I need sex. I'm 20. I've never seen a girl. Do you understand? Every other kid is, and he's probably like, cause he's homeschooled. They probably have a lock on his fucking internet. He's like, I can't even beat off to porn. I have nothing. I can't even see a girl and think of her later. And I have nothing. This woman is willing to take her clothes off in front of me. I'm all on board. I don't care. Criminal record, great, terrific, whatever. She's fun. Let's just say that. Gives a shit. So they argued constantly about nothing but the relationship. The parents would never let it go either. They would not leave him the fuck alone.
Can you imagine?
They wouldn't leave him
living
alone.
your life like that? Every day you walk in the bedroom and your mom's just like, can we talk about Cindy?
Yeah, they're like, you can't. Yeah, because every time he would go out with Cindy, they would bitch about it, and then they'd have a huge fight, and then he'd go out with Cindy, and then, he'd be late the next day for farm work, and they'd be pissed off, and it's all Cindy's fault, and so it's just snowballs and snowballs and snowballs. Apparently she's not a good farm worker.
Oh, I'm sure.
She couldn't.
Sure. She's not a good mother. Forget farm worker. Mothering is much easier than farm work.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, you change
I
a
would to keep
diaper
a kid
versus,
alive, I guess, Not to make them come out good.
No.
It's probably harder.
Yeah.
It's probably harder to raise good meat than a decent child, I would assume. Physically harder, but not mentally. You have to, because you can just say anything you want to a pig and it won't bother it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not going to end up in therapy for it. You know what I mean? It's
going to end up on a plate eventually. So
they're not going to care. But a kid, you have to everything. Not only do you have to keep it all physically alive and healthy and everything, but you have to tell it good things that won't fuck it up later and
positive emotions.
Yeah, you have to form it as a person and a personality and all that. As a pig, it's just go in there, eat that. I'll clean up your shit and then we'll eat you.
But you can feed a kid a little bit late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Depending on how hungry they are. Corn's always fucking hungry.
That's always.
You always got to water that.
Corn never sleeps, Jimmy. Believe that's a rap album. Can't remember who did it. Possibly Jay-Z. Corn never sleeps. It was very big.
I could see Dad though going, "What's so great about her?" And he's just like, "Pink sticky. What do you want from me?"
I don't know.
Smell this. That's why.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. Woman.
Right.
You get it? Woman. Doesn't matter.
Why do you like Mom? She fucks you, right?
Horny. 20. Never seen a girl. Understand? Don't care.
Right.
So, June of 2010, late June. This is early July. He can't take the arguing anymore. Mm-hmm. They've been together a month, by the way. They're barely together, but he can't take the arguing anymore, and he wants to be with Cindy Lou, and she says, well, why don't you just leave your parents' house and move in with me?
Yeah.
So he leaves the farm.
Oh, boy.
He takes off from the farm and moves in with her in an apartment in South Salem. Mm-hmm. And from what I understand, it's kind of a shitty area of Salem, the area she was in. Mm-hmm. It was a rundown, kind of methy area of the city. Not a good area.
Okay.
And the parents freaked out at this point. They put their foot down and they said, you are moving back in. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yep. He said, no, I'm staying here. So they cut him off financially and took his car away, too, that they had given him. So now the kid he's completely on an island with the Cindy Lou Beck. It's just the two of them. He's totally cut off. No money, no car, living in a shitty rundown area with this woman who is harassing neighborhood children. So life has gotten weird for this Andrew kid very, very quickly. It's very, very weird, man.
But here's the thing, too. He's 22 now, and they've been doing this farm life shit for what, fucking 15,
10
20?
years. 10 years.
10 years,
yeah.
okay.
2000 to 2000.
They moved him there when he was 12, when he's trying to figure out who he was.
10.
10.
He moved there when he was 10.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's 20 right now.
He's 20 right now in 2010.
So he's trying to figure out who he was when they moved there.
Yeah,
uprooted
absolutely.
him from a normal-ass life and just planted him in this shit. No wonder he's a little fucked up.
And he's a little weird.
And he was a little off in the first place.
He's a little off, and socially he's a little awkward. Mm-hmm. And the other brothers, I don't know how idyllic. Okay, I judged this a lot of times based on this, parents, how quickly children flee the home is a lot of times if it's, a pleasant environment or not. And not always. I mean, if they go to college or something, but the one didn't want to farm and join the military as soon as possible. Could be to get away. Also could be just wanted to follow in his father's footsteps wanted to do that and wanted to be a career military guy. The other kid got married and moved away immediately when he, was younger. But that's their upbringing too, is to get married and have a family. So that could be for that. So I don't know if these kids moved away happily and proudly, or if they moved away because their parents are a little controlling,
and this life is brutal.
They couldn't even have schools tell them anything. They needed to control every thought that goes into their head.
That's
so
a lot.
We don't know exactly. It's hard to tell, and no one will know here. So apparently they move in, and he moves in. Andrew moves in with Cindy Lou, and in a couple months, basically they get caught. Both of them together, Cindy Lou and Andrew, get caught staring into a neighbor's window.
Okay.
Peeping on a neighbor. I don't know if they were casing the joint or if they were looking if they were being perverts or
if it was Christmas and they were just standing out on the block just looking at a family having a nice time.
You know what? Maybe they were trying to get their attention so they could carol.
Right.
Maybe that's what it was. They were like, hi, out here, open the door. And then they were going to come out and it was, oh, holy night. And it was just going to be a beautiful song.
Instead they got the police.
Yeah, and he can even hit that high note.
Right.
And Night Divine, he can really get up there. Cindy, goatee, but sings like an angel. Sings like a fucking angel.
I
you
see
have
a
no
baritone
idea.
in her future. That's what I see.
It's beautiful.
I see her just
Andrew's the soprano.
Yeah.
I think maybe you're right. Actually,
I see her hitting the bass.
She
notes.
goes that, and he goes high, and they're like, "Ooh, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it."
Threw us a curveball.
Ooh, look at you two. Wow, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
People are throwing cash at him. So, and also, at one point, a neighbor said, quote, once Andrew threatened my husband with mace.
Oh, no.
So they're caught looking in a window. He threatened some woman's husband with mace. And, another neighbor says police were called to the building many times over arguments the couple instigated. This is over a 2-month period.
Yeah.
In 2 months, the police are called many times
What the shit?
over arguments and looking in people's windows. I mean, they're like the apartment crazy people.
Yeah. She has either led him astray or led him to exactly where he needed to be.
Yeah, or that's just he's right in the right path and he found where he wanted to be. Now another neighbor, a guy named David Powell, who lived in in the apartment building, he said, quote, people living nearby described Andrew Jondal and Cindy Beck as trying to start fights with neighbors and threatening their children. They called police because of Beck's behavior 3 or 4 times in the past month. So that was just in a 1-month period, 3 or 4 times, starting fights with neighbors and threatening their children.
Good grief.
You're a dick. I'll fucking kick your kid. What the hell, guy? Who does that?
How do you get that
Who
many
threatens children?
confrontations in
amazing.
a month?
In a month, to where the 3 or 4,
That's way too many.
One is too many, first of all, but 1 could be a mistake. 3 or 4, it's you at that point. It's not your neighbors. Yeah. You're acting weird. Yeah. And don't threaten anyone's children ever. That's super weird. Another time, neighbors said, quote, the 2 were bothering other tenants for money and threatening them.
Oh, Jesus.
So they're trying to shake down their neighbors for money.
Panhandling at home?
Yeah, they were knocking on people's doors.
Wow.
Going, we want money. Will you loan us money? And they were like, no, you're the apartment crazy people. I'm not loaning you. You threatened my children last week. And so they would
borrow a sawbuck. You told my kid to go fuck himself.
Yeah, and threatened to kick him in the face.
He's 4.
Yeah, he was very confused. So he says, yeah, and also when they wouldn't give them money, then they'd threaten them. And they'd have to slam the door in their face and call the police on them because they're threatening them because they wouldn't give them money.
Right.
Because they wouldn't give the neighborhood crazies money who knocked on their door begging. So it's super strange. Another neighbor said, quote, Andrew didn't say things that are normal. He was a really weird guy, or he's a really weird guy. Okay. So Andrew didn't say things that are normal. Yeah. That's what I mean. They're both off. Yeah. Everyone who describes them as they can't they're just off. Yeah. They don't say things right. They do weird things at weird times and not in they're not free spirits. They're off, they're not all there type of thing. Another neighbor named Willie Lee, he said, quote, Jondal has emotionless shark eyes. When he looked at you, there was no happy, no sad. It wasn't mad. It was just blank, empty stare. That's another reason why I might put him in the spectrum thing, because that might not even be right, but a lot of times people think that. Yeah. There's a weird thing with autistic kids for some reason.
They think they have a blank stare, but they think
it's a flat affect. It's what it is. It's not even a matter of that. It's a flat affect. It's not. They don't react as much like that.
There's less emotion in their face.
They have a flatter affect. Yeah. It's just known as that, and then that's that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I could see that, I guess.
So yeah, that's the thing. So it's one of those. So and you work on that with kids, and they learn to kind of overcome that with therapy and shit like that. Yeah, but it's a struggle. It is for that. Trust me. So I
believe you.
Oh yeah, it happens. So another neighbor said, quote, about 2 months ago, several months after their romance began, Andrew and Beck moved in together, and this is a neighbor that talked to them. Andrew continued to battle with his parents, asking them for money. Mm-hmm. So apparently this was another problem. Now he would go, and apparently they're having money problems. They're knocking on neighbors' doors asking for money. He would fight with his parents, who have he left and was financially cut off,
right.
but he would go and ask his parents for money anyway because he's not used to getting it anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's not like he was 16 and he went and got a fucking job somewhere,
right.
stocking shelves or something, or working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
He worked on the farm.
Put her on that Beard and Barnum and Bailey. You'll make tons of cash.
Yeah, I don't know. Charge 2 bits a gander. Put a tent up around her. I don't fucking know. We're being mean, but you know what? This is weird.
Yeah.
So apparently Scott and Marilyn they wouldn't give him a dime once he moved in with her. They wouldn't budge on that. So this would cause more arguments, and they wouldn't help him anymore. And everybody had there was a lot of contentious feelings between everyone in the family here. Now, back in South Salem, where they're living in her apartment, she is about to be evicted for failure to pay rent for, a couple of months, which would be why they need money and why they're asking other people for money.
Police involvement doesn't help.
That doesn't help either. If you're they want to evict her. Everyone's calling the cops on her, and she's not paying her rent. Like, she's a prime candidate for eviction, I would say. There's nothing redeeming here. It's not like she's going around doing gardening around the complex and trying to clean up and help out, and I'll fucking work it off or something. She is causing problems. She's also trying to get her kids out of foster care, because if there's one thing this lady needs, it's children to be in
more responsibility,
to be in the care of it. Wow.
She can't even take care of herself.
I would say not. Yeah. She can't, she's getting the cops called on her constantly. What's going to happen when she's got kids trailing behind her?
She's about to be homeless.
That's the thing. And so she needs money, because apparently to get her kids out of foster care, to apply to get them back out, she has to show a stable place to live. She can't be moving around all the time. She can't be in the middle of being evicted from I'm evicted now, but I'll have a place in a few days. Like, they won't give you your kids back at that point.
I like to call it in between residencies.
Yeah, that's not proving shit to the state at that point. So she's trying to do that. People nearby report as the couple months went on, as the summer of 2010 progressed, Andrew and Cindy would more increasingly start fights with neighbors, threaten their children. It's a real theme of threatening children.
What is that?
She's threatened everybody's children in this place. I don't know what it is. Like, she's pissed off that her kids are gone, so she's going to threaten your kids. And more calls to the police. Another neighbor remembers Cindy and Andrew showed up at this neighbor's house at 2:00 on a Tuesday morning, or 2:00 at night 2:00 in the morning on a Tuesday night, asking for cigarettes.
What?
Asking for 2:00 in the morning. Yeah. The neighbor didn't even smoke.
They woke him up to ask him for cigarettes.
He probably came to the door. Oh my God, is the house on fire? Is someone dying out there? What's going on? You got any cigarettes? What?
I don't even smoke.
What the fuck are you talking about? Wow. I would fucking murder people if they knocked on my door at 2 a.m. I'm up at 2 a.m. But if I was sleeping and someone woke me up to ask for cigarettes, the complex crazy lady wakes me up to ask for cigarettes, I am kicking somebody's ass at that point. I'm not going to be happy. Now, this is okay. This is the quote from the neighbor, and this I had to read 5 times to understand what he was talking about. Quote: This is what the guy they came to the door, knocked on the door at 2 a.m. asking for cigarettes. Quote: She had her hood up and he was shaking uncontrollably. Okay, now my first instinct was this like a nudity did she does having her hood up mean flashing her titties? That was my first thought. I'll trade you a gander for 2 Newports. What do you say? Yeah.
And was he
for a couple of Salems.
Was he shaking uncontrollably, laughing at her tits being out?
No. So apparently she had a hoodie on and she had a hood
over her head
over her head, and he was just shaking uncontrollably, like he was asking. So you get these 2 weirdos knocking on your door, a behoodied, bearded woman and a skinny, shaky, shark-eyed kid knocking on your door at 2 a.m. asking for cigarettes. Shit's gotten weird.
That's a good time.
So Andrew decides he's going to make one last play to his parents to try to save this apartment situation, and he begs them for $500. $500 will get them out of eviction. So this is not a high dollar.
$500 is changing their life.
Will change their life.
Wow.
So, I mean, this is not a high dollar area here. And the parents can afford it.
Yeah.
They make good money.
Yeah.
And they tell him no.
Okay.
They don't give him a fucking dime.
Okay.
They tell him, you're more than welcome to come home.
Yeah.
Without her, you can move on home, live at the farm, and, you'll get everything you want. But you want to be with her, you're on your own, asshole. So, they felt that, and they told their friends this too. The parents here, Scott and Marilyn, felt that Cindy Lou was manipulating their son and getting him to do things. They said, quote, getting him to do things he normally wouldn't do, as far as getting in trouble and going around threatening kids, knocking on doors for cigarettes at 2 a.m. This isn't normal behavior for him. No. Everybody remembers him as just, a nice kid that worked on the farm. He's the nice Christian farm kid with the military dad. So at that point, there's a lot more strain between, especially Andrew and Scott. They're fighting a lot. 'Cause this is like kind of a traditional old school. He's the head of the household and all that kind of shit. So at one point during this in late July of 2010. Andrew comes, he asks for money, makes one last play for this $500, and there's a big argument between Andrew and Scott tells Andrew to get off his farm. Oh, so when a farmer tells you to get off his farm,
you get the fuck out of there.
That means he wants you off his fucking farm, and he's going to shoot you with salt pellets if you don't leave.
That is nasty shit.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. It's the worst.
My uncle has scars all over his thigh from it.
It's terrible.
He got shot in the ass with it, jumping a fence after banging some girl, and the dad caught him.
Well, at least that's a good story.
He jumped out.
That's kind of worth it, honestly.
Got
it's a good
up on
story.
a chain link fence, and then he felt the shit hit his ass.
Sex wounds. That's pretty impressive, honestly.
Brutal.
So, this just escalates and everything is going wrong here. And, it's not a few months, 4 months ago, this is a harmonious, happy family that everybody is like, wow, what an idyllic little life they lead and everything. They make videos and they're all farming and petting pigs and smiling together and shit. And on the videos, you can see Andrew happy on the farm and you can see him doing his thing and you can see the parents happy and looks great. August 31st, 2010 at 7:39 a.m. 911 dispatch receives a report of a dead body with their head smashed in.
Okay.
So they investigate, obviously.
Beard?
Well, we'll get to all this here. So this point, it's just a dead body with a head smashed in. That's all they know. They don't know anything about it. So detectives at 7:39 in the morning rush out to figure this out. They find out the 911 call came from a delivery man who delivers water. Was delivering water to the farm, and he walked up to the garage and made a discovery. He ended up finding Scott, what he said as didn't know, unconscious. He didn't know at all, just wasn't moving, not responsive, and the deputies came and ambulance came and they said the deputy that was there first said he could obviously see it was not a good situation at the Jondal farm. So the water delivery driver and his son, they were a team delivering water together. They pulled up at the Abundant Life farm. They were going to make a delivery. He pulls up to the home. His son gets out to make the delivery of bottled water. They do like they order bottled water. So the son makes a delivery of bottled water. He goes to the garage to put the bottled water in it, and all of a sudden motions for his father to come out of the truck. Frantically motioning. His father comes down. They find Scott Jondal lying on the ground in the garage with a giant pool of blood around him. And he is... he is in bad shape. I mean, he has been brutalized. We'll talk about it. This person said this is crazy. The water delivery person said, quote, "It didn't look like a real person." So I felt the exposed skin of the man's calf area. The body appeared to be cold, but the skin still had some give in it. There was a sickle that is used to cut hay next to the body. The door from the garage to the residence was open, so we returned to the truck and called 911. Because they're like, who knows if someone's inside? Obviously, the door's open. Someone probably didn't walk away after they did this.
Might be in there looking for a bottle of water, and I got way too much of it.
I got way too much. This looks like thirsty thirsty work here. This is a lot of killing.
Yeah.
This looks like thirsty work. Yeah, with a sickle. Jesus Christ.
Somebody's exhausted.
You're going to wipe your forehead off and go, oh, boy, I need me a bottle of Sparklets right about now. Jesus Christ. So investigators show up, obviously. They call in the detectives for this one. This is a little too much for the patrol squad.
Smidge.
Now they end up investigating further, and they find that it's definitely Scott Jondal out in the garage. And they end up going inside, and just inside in the laundry room, which is kind of attached to the kitchen, they also find the body of Marilyn Jondal, bludgeoned to death. I mean, she is beaten bad. They find a metal pipe and the sickle outside. They find the sickle in the garage. They find a metal pipe inside the house. The sickle was used to kill Scott, and the pipe was used to kill Marilyn.
So this which weapon
they found? Well, it's different. We'll find out exactly what happened, but it makes sense, the attack of how it went down.
It's either two people or one dude that's got an arsenal.
That's
some weird shit
coming with some odd weaponry, some strange shit. Got this and this. Yeah. I'm armed, ready to go. Yeah. Who needs a gun or a normal knife or anything else? I got farm implements and a metal pipe. So the sheriff, who showed up on the scene and said, quote, "There was a lot of anger in this killing. The scene at the farmhouse is one of the worst I've seen in more than a decade as sheriff." Yeah. The guy, apparently Scott was, like I said, unrecognizable. The guy said it didn't look like a person. Fuck. It was that bad. He was stabbed with the sickle, so badly and many times. Torso, head, in the eye. The sickle went in his eye, like all the way, stabbed with the sickle in the eye, in the wounds in the head, body, just hacked up.
Holy shit.
A sickle that you would use to, take down.
Yeah, sling blade.
It's brutal, man.
Fuck.
That's a brutal way to go. And it was a galvanized water pipe was the pipe, and and the mother, Marilyn, was beaten badly. Yeah. Bludgeoned horribly.
Those things
overkill. Overkill too.
Like
it was more than necessary.
They put copper in the ground now, and that shit just bends easy.
Yeah, no, this is why they put galvanized steel.
You've got to put fittings and shit on it to get it to bend.
This is crazy.
That's stiff shit.
This is stiff. You meant it. It was a brutal attack, and the sheriff said the same thing. Brutal. She wasn't stabbed though, the mother. Okay. The father was also hit with the pipe as well. Okay. That's what they found. Pronounced, obviously, both of them deceased when they got there. The autopsy says that David Scott died from stab wounds, and Marilyn's cause of death was the blunt force to the head with the pipe. The sheriff said, quote, "An autopsy showed that Scott Jondal died of multiple stab wounds in the upper head and torso, upper head including his eyeball. Through that, Marilyn Jondal was killed by blunt force trauma to the upper body and head." So that was brutal way for these two to go. Absolutely horrible.
I think it's just a wild swing, and then it caught his eye, and it just, fuck, man.
It would have to be. Then again, if you live on a farm, you're probably pretty good with a sickle.
It's possible.
You're probably pretty accurate with one of those. You use that shit all the time, I would assume. Jesus. Who knows? I don't know. In a rage, too? Who knows? So, They start an investigation. They contact the pastor of the church, and said, because they're looking for anything. So they contact the pastor, and that's their only community. They have the farm people, they go to the market, and then they go to church. So they don't have anybody else. They don't have a social circle outside of church. So they go there and ask the pastor, do they have any enemies? Who do they hang out with? Who might want to kill these people? And the pastor's like, well, they're the nicest people in the world. Right. They do everything for everybody. They even raise good meat, so I'm not sure. But they did have a concern recently. They've talked to me, come to me for counseling about their son, Andrew, who goes by Drew, by the way, this whole time. But I'm not calling him Drew. No. You're Andrew. Yeah. So, that they were concerned that he'd moved in with a woman who was 25 years older than him and had a criminal record and just wasn't of their social circle, we'll say. Apparently, they find out that he had Andrew had recently contacted his father for $500 for rent money, and he told him that it was to be used for the apartment of his older girlfriend, and that's why they wouldn't give it to him. Yeah. And so they told the pastor that, because they were going to the pastor for advice. Did we do the right thing? Should we have given it to him or whatever? And the pastor was counseling them on that whole deal. So right away, the only people they really want to talk to here is Andrew. That's the number one person to talk to. Everybody else...
Pretty good investigation work.
Yeah, there's only, it only goes to that. Otherwise, everybody likes them. Right. There's no reason to kill them because it's not like they stole, all the farm equipment and, loaded up the pigs onto a truck and, it wasn't like this wasn't a corporate farm takeover. Hostile takeover where that's how you do a hostile corporate takeover. Yeah. We're taking the farm and then stab a guy in the eye is what you have to do. It's horrible. These poor people.
That's hostile as fuck.
That's really hostile. Super, super hot. Maybe that's all. He's like, I wanted to take the farm over early. Yeah. That's it. I didn't have time to wait.
I'm here for it.
So, these people, the detectives end up going to the apartment of, Cindy Lou and Andrew's apartment. That's where they start. The detective Olafson said, quote, this is amazing. While I was at the apartment of Andrew and Cindy, I saw in plain view credit cards with the names of the victims on a coffee table.
Why would he do that?
So he has his parents' credit card. The cops are there. He lets the cops in and leaves them on the coffee table in plain sight.
What is he doing?
These two are both fucking rocket scientists. I swear to Christ. The lieutenant that was there said, quote, I asked the two if they would come with me to the Polk County Sheriff's Office to speak with the detectives about an incident that happened earlier in the day. Yeah. And they were like, oh, sure. Wow. What's going on here?
An incident.
We got a little incident. So the sheriff of Polk County, Bob Wolf, said, quote, a search of the apartment turned up only a marijuana pipe, and neither seemed to be under the influence of anything when interviewed by detectives. Okay. That's the number one thing everybody says about them that knows them is like, there had to be drugs. It has to be meth. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a lot of meth around there, and they're like acting weird at 2 a.m. and knocking on people's doors for cigarettes and shaking. That's 1,000% meth behavior, but
weed behavior, no,
not weed behavior, absolutely not. You'd be like, fuck it, I'm not going out there. It's fine. 2 a.m.
I'll get a job tomorrow.
I'll figure it out. I'll get cigarettes tomorrow too. I'm cool. It's 2 a.m. I mean, there's Comedy Central and doing stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm doing things.
Adult Swim is right in the middle of it.
I got a lot of stuff going on. I can't have time for that. So, so that's an odd thing. Just the weed pipe. They expected to come up with, a cache of meth or something here, and they don't. Now, Andrew was brought in for questioning at 10 a.m. the next morning there. They said that the sheriff said that he and his girlfriend established a relationship that the parents didn't approve of, and that caused tension between the family and the son. We believe that this ultimately led to this situation. So, they think that Andrew did it, obviously, and the sheriff says all indications are that Andrew went there with the intention of killing his parents. So, they interview Andrew, and he doesn't hold out very long. He's he's not a kid who is real slick socially, and he's a type of guy that you can.
His lying skills aren't up to par.
They're not up to par, and you can intimidate him. Yeah. He's gullible. He's known as, and we'll find out exactly how gullible pretty soon, but it's next level gullible.
Oh boy.
So the statement of what he said to police here, he said that August 29th, 2010, that he, and this was 2 days before the murder, he and Cindy started discussing plans to murder his parents. Andrew said that he planned to murder his mother and father and then take money and jewelry to pay for the rent. Mm-hmm. That was the plan. This is a very short-sighted plan right here.
I'm going to take money and jewels to the front office and be like, this is for 206.
I'm going to, this is, here's a class ring from the Air Force Academy ring. What? I don't get anything for that. How much? That's got to be worth half a month's rent.
Right there is a teardrop pearl.
That's pretty good.
That's very rare.
That's all I'm going to say.
It's about 3 months.
Yeah. So
see you in 3 months.
Jesus, see you in 3 months. So he says on August 31st, this is what Andrew tells the police, between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., he said, quote, I got on my motorized scooter, because that's what he's riding now, he's got no car, and rode from the apartment to my parents' house. By the way, that's a trip. Yeah. It's a 30-minute drive.
He's going to have to plug that thing in when he gets there.
Yeah, he's cruising in the middle of the night on his scooter there. He says, quote, I went with the intention of killing them both. So he's not hiding this shit. They get him right away. He said, I was waiting outside of the house for them to go to bed. That's fucking... Yeah. Dude, that's so cold-blooded, man. It's cold because while you're out there, you have so much time to change your mind. Not only do you have time, when you get pissed off and you drive somewhere, it takes you like 5 minutes to be like, where am I going? You're like, this is to chill the fire. I don't know if it's the hum of the engine or something cools you the fuck out. But on a half-hour scooter ride, he didn't, and I don't know if he can go the speed limit on that scooter either. It might have taken him an hour to get there. Who knows? He didn't calm the fuck down.
Probably made him more mad.
Yeah, that's this goddamn scooter ride.
Fucking thing all
bugs in his face. Yeah,
freezing his ass off.
And then he gets there and he waits for them to go to bed, sitting outside. So he has all this time, not only to think about it, but to like look in and see his parents and have human feeling for them and emotions. And these are the people that raised and fed me and shit like that. And maybe I shouldn't kill them. Instead, he says, quote, I got impatient. He got sick of waiting for him. These fucking assholes are never going to go to bed. Jesus Christ. And he said, I called the home phone and told my dad I was at the stop sign by their road and I wanted to talk to him. So that's what he says. He says, I called my dad, told him I'm down the street. I want to talk to you. So he's trying to get his dad to come outside. He said, quote, I picked up a steel pipe with an elbow joint at the end of it and waited for my dad to leave the house.
Wow.
That is really heavy. Yeah. That's a brutal thing to hit somebody with.
To look at that with the elbow on it and be like, perfect.
That's, man, that's bad intentions.
Like pipe axe.
It's brutal, man. That is brutal. He said, so he did that. He waited for his dad. He said, quote, my dad opened the door, the garage door he's talking about. He's waiting outside the garage door, not knowing that Andrew's there because he told him that he was down the street. Right. He said, my dad opened the door and I hit him in the head with the pipe.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ, man. This guy didn't even know it was coming. It's late at night. His own kid. Yeah. And he didn't just say, you know what, Andrew, go fuck yourself. Right. Go back home. He went outside to talk to him because maybe he can talk him into coming home, I'm sure he's thinking, or something. I don't know. He said, quote, this knocked my dad down and I continued to hit him in the head with the pipe. Fuck. This is why he said it didn't look like a person because he bludgeoned his skull,
bashed him in,
just destroyed his skull and torso and everything else with this pipe, and then picked up the sickle, as we're going to talk about here. He said at this point, Jesus Christ, this is sick shit. Quote, I heard my dad gurgling for air and I knew he was going to die. I grabbed a sickle that's used to cut hay and I stabbed him 3 or 4 times in the chest with it. Oh, you missed the part where you hit him in the head and stabbed him through the eye. That also. But while you're doing that, who knows if he even
remembered or knew what he was hitting.
And who knows how the lighting in there. There's blood everywhere. His skull is crushed in. Who the fuck knows? It's crazy shit. So he said, quote, my mother came to the garage and saw what happened. She turned around and went back into the house. I went after her. First of all, that's your mother. Like, she saw what happened, so I figured I better go kill her. That's a crazy fucking thought. She said she turned around, went back into the house. I went after her and struck her several times with the pipe until she was dead. Brutal. He then says, I went into my parents' bedroom and attempted to make it look like there'd been a robbery.
By robbing them.
By robbing them, yeah. Well, he kind of tossed the place a little. Yeah, he said, quote, I took their credit cards, jewels, and cash out of their wallets.
Wow.
Oh, God, Jesus, that is so disgusting. He beat his parents to death and then robbed them like they're he's a street mugger. Like he's a fucking crackhead in the street.
Just a mugger.
This is just like he's the guy who killed Batman's parents.
Right.
Like, this is fucking nuts.
Going through pockets now.
What the shit, man? This is awful. He says, quote, when I left their house, I called Cindy and told her that I'd killed them and was on my way home. Yeah, just killed the parents on the way home now. You need me to pick up anything, milk or anything?
Also, got rent money.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Rent straight.
Let me pick up McDonald's, or what do you want? Double cheeseburgers? What are we doing here? Just on my way home now. Nope, killed the parents. Now I'm on the way.
Robbed him, got money, jewels, and a Norelco.
And here we go. He's fuck. Yeah. So I just took the 5-pack of Bics my dad had there. Just he doesn't use fancy razors, but it'll take that goatee
sustainable.
off. Sustainable. He says, quote, when I got home, I took all my bloody clothes off, and Cindy put them in a trash bag and threw them away across the street in a large dumpster at an apartment complex.
Now they're gone.
So that's the other thing, too. They didn't even go like a mile away.
No.
They just went, no one across the streets. It's not right here, so it's fine. Why not just put it in a can outside your front door, for Christ's sake?
Just leave him in the corner of the room.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He said, I got in the shower and washed the blood off my face, and then we went to bed.
He rode a scooter back
all the way back,
blood all over
covered
him.
in blood.
Wow.
Because imagining,
can't even imagine. The
amount of a pipe with an elbow joint on the end of it, bludgeoning people to death with the spatter that would be coming off of that.
So much.
And every time he pulls it back, it's going to come all over him. It's going to be
hitting a body of water with a pipe
everywhere, and he's stabbing too, and shit's going to come, and arteries are opening, and there's blood all over the place. He drove through the Oregon night for a half hour and showed up like that. Hey, how's it going? On a scooter, fully exposed, not even in a car.
Right.
Jesus Christ. So the charges here, because he confesses pretty quickly, they charge Cindy Lou with hindering prosecution for hiding the clothes for him. Okay, that's hindering prosecution. But there's more to this here, because this was just they I guess didn't dispose of the clothes till a couple hours before the cops get there. Now something weird comes out. The district attorney in this whole thing says that one of the tactics that comes out of why this happened, they talked to Andrew Moore, and Andrew keeps talking, she manipulated Andrew, and one of the things she did was Jesus fucking Christ, I don't even know how to put this. She pretended to channel the spirits of animals and trees and forest things.
What?
Okay. He said, this district attorney said that Cindy was able to convince Andrew that she was the voice of an animal and woodland spirits who were telling her that the Jondals posed a threat to her children and that he should kill them because of that.
Holy shit.
She told him, one more time. Everybody's going to need that one more. Everyone said, what? Okay. She pretended to channel spirits, convinced Andrew she was the voice of an animal and, quote, woodland spirits who were telling her the Jondals, his parents, posed a threat to her children who were in foster care, who, by the way, the Jondals I've never met and know nothing the fuck about.
What is she doing?
Don't want anything to do with her or her kids, and that he should kill them. She told him that, quote, that they, quote, had to be killed at some point in time.
Sometime.
Like, you don't have to do it right now, but at some point this week, you're going to have to kill the pet. Because, I mean, they're going after my kids, and the woodland spirits told me.
Unbelievable.
She began to use a picture that was in their apartment that she had that was of wolves. It was a picture of wolves, and she indicated that the spirit of the wolves in the picture was speaking through her.
Holy shit.
That was so it went from forest animals and then trees and shit and just woodland spirits, whatever the fuck that means, to then a specific spirits of pictured wolves.
How good is that bearded pussy? How do you get there?
Her goatee must feel amazing tickling your balls. That's all I gotta say, because I'm sorry, not to be graphic, everybody, but Jesus fucking Christ,
that is insane. How do you get to that point to where this isn't gullible? This is just fucking dumb.
She apparently the spirit of these pictured wolves are speaking through her. She also repeatedly pretended to channel other animal or, quote, tree spirits.
I'm an old oak.
So I'm a tree. Kill your parents. What the fuck is that? What is that? Who doesn't question that? Hi, I'm a maple tree. Your parents need to die. They're going to have to die soon. Or they're going to fucking fuck with this lady's kids who they've never met. Okay, have a good one.
I'm the murder ficus. We got to talk.
I got a lot of other stuff to do.
What is this?
I'm a tree. Kill your parents. What the fuck? So the district attorney says that Andrew Jondal is very gullible and has now, they're saying, some people say he's smart, and then the district attorney says that he has limited intelligence, which I don't know which it is.
Somebody that told you a homicidal tree told you to murder.
That's true, and the wolves and everything. But they also say that he's very gullible. They say he is because of the homeschool, and we're not saying homeschooled kids are all fucking bad or they're all whatever.
Right.
We're just saying that they say this particular, he was excessively sheltered. Yeah. A lot of homeschool kids, they're homeschooled. They have these big social groups they go to and they do shit and they get whatever.
Right.
This wasn't that. This was them on the farm talking about Jesus and then fucking farming. And then that was it. There was no social, he didn't have a lot of social interaction. He had some, but not a lot. So they're saying that he was super gullible and very religious. They said he was like, his mentality was like a younger kid.
Sure.
Because he didn't really do anything on his own. And he was so religious that he was very, very gullible and believed in this sort of shit and was open to it.
Wow.
And can be convinced of shit.
That's too much.
And one of, it's crazy. One of his attorneys, a guy named Stephen Gorham, described him. He said, quote, he's a simple kid. He has the capacity of about a 12-year-old. Is what they're saying.
I just saw Simple Jack.
That's fucking funny.
Ma. Or however he did it.
Yeah, one of those. So the attorney Gorham said Andrew Jondal was, quote, susceptible and suggestible from a psychological makeup, in part because of his biological background, which whatever is wrong with him, and he's a little offness, and partially due to his sheltered upbringing. Andrew Jondal believes in angels, and that really flowed into believing that these other spirits Cindy Beck was telling him about. Apparently that's what he told them too, is like she took his belief in angels and like morphed that into angels of this, and then these animals have angels too. You know, they go to wolf heaven and then they run around and there's toys and lots of stuff to play with, and then they have spirits that channel through me, and the trees have spirits, and he apparently bought all of this shit. So they go to Cindy Beck with all this shit, and they're like, look, lady, hindering prosecution, maybe not. You might need a couple more charges here. We need to talk to you a little bit here. This is what Andrew's telling us. This is pretty heavy shit. So they say to her, quote, I later spoke, this is the investigator, quote, I later spoke with Cindy Beck and she confirmed that she conspired with Andrew to kill his parents. Ms. Beck told me that they talked about the idea on 8/29 and 8/30/2010. She says, quote, Cindy says, quote, I thought I was protecting my children from David and Marilyn Jondal. Never, they don't care about your kids at all. The investigator said, quote, Ms. Beck went on to tell me that she did not have any proof that the Jondals were harming her children, that were in foster care at a nearby residence, but that her daughter was nervous because Mr. Jondal waved at her daughter while she was walking down the road.
What the fuck?
They said at one point, while she was in the number, that's how they met, because she was bouncing around residences in the neighborhood. Apparently, while they were walking down the road one time with the little girl, Mr. Jondal, Scott, waved at the little girl as she walked by. You know, like people do. Just go, hi, kid. Yeah, hi, neighbor.
Yeah.
Neighbor, child. Nice to see you.
You know how many times I've waved at kids?
Yeah, that meant...
constantly.
That means that...
I'm going to murder you.
I'm going to find those kids in foster care, hunt them down, and murder them.
Yeah.
No reason why.
Jesus.
Now, the investigator said, Ms. Beck told me that she and Andrew came up with the plan to murder his parents and steal money from them to pay rent. Cindy said, quote, told the investigator, quote, we were hoping we would inherit the farm after the murder. So they needed, the short term was rent money, but they had a long game of inheriting this fucking farm. She's like, shit, in a month we can move into this place and be goddamn farm owners. I could turn into...
You already know how to do it all.
Yeah, and if I have a 210-acre farm, how are they going to keep my kids in foster care then?
Right.
I'm not in a shitty apartment that I owe money on. I'm in a goddamn farm.
I can have cage-free children.
This is ideal for these goddamn kids. The investigator said, quote, Ms. Beck told me that Andrew called her when he arrived at his parents' residence on the evening of 8:30, and he told her that they were still awake and he was waiting for them to go asleep. Cindy said that she told him, quote, you can come home or you can wait and kill them. So he's like, what should I do? She's like, I don't know. Come home, kill him. I don't know. Do whatever you got. They're very casual about this. Then later on, he's like, all right, killed him on my way home. She's like, all right, cool.
See you then.
All right. Well, I'll make some dinner. Excellent. Good job.
What a story.
So it gets crazier here. Don't worry. There's more.
Oh, Jesus.
The investigator said, quote, Ms. Beck said, quote, I knew that they had to be killed at some point in time. Yeah. She just knew it. The sheriff said, quote, there's no evidence she participated in the killings directly, but she faces conspiracy charges for helping plan the attack.
Absolutely.
You can't plan a murder and then say, you should, and plus you can't
strongly suggest and encourage.
Give them the idea in the first place and then actually say, you should follow through with that pretty soon. I mean, at some point in time, no rush or anything, but, before Monday.
Right.
Let's just say that. So the indictments here, the grand jury adds, there's a couple added charges to Cindy. And in addition to hindering prosecution, 2 counts of aggravated murder go to the list of charges. By the way, aggravated murder in the state of Oregon is the only crime eligible for the death penalty.
Really?
Aggravated murder. Yeah, because that's planned and plotted and the whole deal, and particularly heinous and cold. And there's a lot of parameters here. Quote, and they say that she had previously only been accused of 2 counts of conspiracy to commit and 1 count of hindering prosecution, and now they upped it. They're upping the ante. They said that, quote, if the Jondals were alive, she could be convicted of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. But it's our theory that she was instrumental in committing the murder because she was forcing him. Now, as far as bail goes, Cindy Lou is held with $1 million bail. And considering she can't raise $500 in rent money,
pretty safe bet she's staying.
She's probably going to stay. They probably already got her apartment rented to somebody else, I'm thinking here. Jesus. Andrew is held without bail because he's got more charges we'll find out about. Both ended up requesting court-appointed attorneys, so that's never a good sign. They have the funeral for Scott in Maryland at the Trinity Lutheran Church in Dallas there. The family's pastor, Larry King, I doubt the talk show host, I don't think, because that'd be odd for a Jewish talk show host to be doing a funeral at a Lutheran church in Oregon, but who knows.
Scott was a great guy, let me tell you.
He was a wonderful man, let me tell you. I sit him down. I wanted to have a conversation with him all these years. He never got famous enough. It's my biggest regret. I'm going to tell you right now. It's my biggest regret, everybody. So
Scott was a great man. Let me tell you a story about Sandy Koufax.
Oh, boy. One of my best friends. So, which I think they were actually friends.
I think the story is that Larry never actually met him.
Oh, I think, but he's told a lot of stories.
But he's told people that they're best friends.
No, there's a Koufax. Yeah, I was going to say there's
he's told a million
Jimmie
stories.
didn't just say that because they're both Jewish. There's literally, if you don't know, people don't know that shit. People don't know that. And they're going to go, Jimmie, Jesus, Jimmie. No.
Calm down, Jimmie.
There's a thing about Larry King would tell everyone how great he was with Koufax when he wasn't friends with Koufax. He was just bragging that he knew the guy he didn't know.
I think Sandy Koufax actually said, I don't know the fucking
I don't fucking know him. Yeah, I don't need him. I'm Sandy Koufax. You know who I am? I don't need this guy. So,
He'll get married again, Larry.
Jesus Christ. So the pastor here, Larry King, said the congregations of the church, along with other friends, are helping their son Luke, because the other son's still in the military, so he can't stay on the farm. So Luke went back to the farm because right now they need somebody to take care of the fucking animals.
Right.
While in the meantime, while they figure out what to do with it, they can't just let a bunch of pigs die.
Right.
So apparently the whole church is helping out Luke, their married son, take care of the farm and figure out what to do.
Jesus.
They said that the couple's son, Wayne, is still deciding what to do. He doesn't know. They're talking about whether to sell it, whether to keep it going. They're still selling meat to their parents' customers at the moment, but they may decide to shut down the operation once the current animals are gone and figure out what the fuck to do, whether they're going to whatever. Now, obviously, the town is freaked out by this. Yeah. This is a it's a smaller area, and these guys have a close knit community. Not the whole town, but these particular people. We have some quotes. Some local people quote: "They were kind, honest, and content. They were very passionate about what they were doing. They were living out their dream. As far as I know, Andrew was planning on taking over the business. From what I can tell, he enjoyed working on the farm, working with animals. He was planning on taking over the business, continuing the work his parents started. He wasn't violent at all. I just couldn't imagine Andrew doing something like this. In the limited times I saw him, he wasn't violent at all. He didn't seem to be angry or troubled in any way. He just seemed to be a normal kid. Andrew always had a smile on his face." Yeah. So now we get flat affect and always had a smile on his face. Super intelligent, a simple kid. Like there's
nobody can nail what he is.
No, that's the thing. He says, quote, another one said, quote, about the father, about Scott, quote, "This man fed my family the most wonderful food. They dedicated their lives to providing real food to the community. What a horrible tragedy. Scott was a fantastic person. Their farm was an amazing place." Another one here says, quote, "Their youngest son, Drew, was a typical teen who helped out his parents. When I knew him as a teenager, he was going through teenage stuff. He was always very helpful. He would go around and sweep the floor and help people carry out their bags." So everybody in town is shocked. The sheriff said, quote, "Anytime somebody takes the life of anybody, it's bad. But when you kill your own parents, that's really bad."
Yeah.
Wow, that's profound.
Well done, Sheriff.
Well done. Anytime you kill anybody, it's bad. But kill your parents, that's really bad. And I know, because that's my legal opinion as an officer of the law. And he said, rage fueled these attacks, I would say. Yeah. So this is fucking interesting here. The other sons are freaked out, by the way. The other sons are in shock. They never expected this at all. They just left, and now they didn't expect to get a call that their brother killed their parents. Right. Wayne, who's the one in the military, he said, quote, "I just didn't imagine something like this could happen." Andrew's grandmother, this is Marilyn's mother, said, quote, "We were so shocked that he could do this. We couldn't comprehend it until we started hearing about her history, about Cindy Lou's history."
Gotcha. Okay.
They were like, what would make Andrew? He's such a meek kid. He's like a skinny kid. He's not like he's just not an aggressive looking guy, and he's not an aggressive acting guy. Right. And they're like, what happened? And then they heard about Cindy Lou, and they were like, oh, he's with a much older woman with a long criminal record. This is starting to make a little more sense here. Now they end up pleading not guilty. Both of them, which after confessions, that's a tough
ballsy
one. That's a ballsy one. So, they were arraigned and they plead not guilty. That's 2 counts of, Andrew faces 2 counts of aggravated murder and robbery. And the Polk County prosecutors decide they will seek the death penalty for Andrew. Shit. Yeah, that's, they're going hard on him.
Oh, boy.
She also faces 2 charges of aggravated murder as well as conspiracy to commit murder, but they will not pursue the death penalty against her. District attorney said, quote, "The penalty part of the case is fact specific. Because she wasn't the person who physically committed these crimes, it would be less likely historically that the death penalty is appropriate." Okay. In other words, they're not going to give her the death penalty.
So why chase it? Right.
If you can make that jury picture this guy fucking bludgeoning his mother's skull with a pipe, they'll want to put him in the chair. Right. But for someone who wasn't there, didn't do it, was home, it's harder to do
making
it.
Phone calls, saying shit to him.
And throwing a garbage bag out and pretending to be a fucking wolf.
Right.
Pretending to be a wolf spirit. It's a little different here. So the Beck's attorney says that they want a bail hearing to try to get lower bail. For what?
Why?
For what? You can't afford it anyway. The district attorney said, quote, "It's the right of every defense counsel to request a bail hearing. The likelihood of a judge releasing an individual with these kind of charges, it's not high."
No.
He's like, "That's fine. We could do a bail hearing. I don't
give it a shot.
I got 10 minutes on Wednesday. That's cool." Have the judge go, "What are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Get the fuck out of here." You, ma'am. Fuck off. Get out of here. So now Beck's attorneys filed a motion to suppress some of the evidence that police gathered during the initial part of the investigation, the stuff around their apartment. But if you invite them in, that's a plain view search.
Yeah.
They can do a plain view, which is just anything that's out in the open.
Right. They're not opening drawers or ransacking the place.
They didn't push their way in. They said, "Could we come in?" You invited them in. Anything that's out in the open, you're on the hook for at that point. If they can't open a drawer and look in it or something, unless they have a warrant. But if the drawer's open, fuck it. You can see it. If it's right on the coffee table, you're an idiot.
Right.
Put a piece of paper over it, and then they couldn't have looked at it. Literally, the loose leaf, just one. There you go.
There it is.
Done. I don't know what you're talking about.
Problem solved.
Bloody clothes? Look around for bloody clothes. I don't have any. There you go. Done. So don't go. No, across the street. Don't go across the street. No. Don't go to the nearest dumpster. Don't do that.
Second nearest.
Don't go to. No. Oh, we don't have a dumpster.
Right.
It's the closest. We have to throw our shit over there. I mean, we have an incinerator. So. So she files for that, and the judge rules that the evidence is admissible in trial. So they're pretty fucked here. They have statements against him and everything else. She pleaded not guilty to her 2 counts of aggravated murder. She tells people that she just keeps telling everybody that she just thought she was protecting her children. That's all she thought she was doing. She thought she was protecting her children, which she's either the most full of shit or the most crazy.
Yeah.
I can't decide which one.
You don't even have your children. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? So his defense team, Andrew's defense team, proposed a settlement agreement early on. This ended up, they went into negotiations to have a settlement to not take this to trial because he's going to fucking lose.
Yeah.
Especially with his detailed statement he gave afterwards. And then they're not going to believe, well, we'll go easy on him because the wolf spirits told him to do it. No one's buying that shit. So
how many times have you been approached by a murder ficus? You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you just got to do what the murder
pretty
ficus
persuasive.
says.
I got to be honest with you.
It's evergreen.
Every time the death tree comes a knocking, I answer the call. That's all I'm saying. So, this apparently the negotiations broke down after a while, and the state said they were going to trial. And then finally, another proposal was brought about by the defense, and both sides end up agreeing to everything here, which is weird because they said that the DA was very boisterous in his seeking of the death penalty. He said these crimes are heinous and they absolutely warrant the death penalty. He's publicly posturing, but that's also giving him a better negotiation leverage. Okay. The more he says, we can't wait to kill this fucking guy, the less of a good deal you want. Yeah. The less the more you're just looking for a deal of anything short of being killed put down. So, he said, quote, at this point, they asked the prosecutor, why did you change your mind? And he said, I'm not sure if there was any one factor that led to the change in our approach. Someone just floated the idea of a settlement conference. We agreed it was worth a try. So he said, also, he said that there was a couple other factors. He said, I've received a number of letters from family members as well as folks in the community that have had an ongoing relationship with the Jondals. They all wanted to see Andrew held accountable but not receive the death penalty. The crime is heinous, but the surviving members of David and Marilyn Jondal's family have been involved in the settlement process. So they told him, They don't want him put to death, his own family. So that's a factor also. He says, the prosecutor said, they have suffered worse in these crimes and they're supportive of a 50-year sentence. So that's what they're talking about in the settlement, but that's for the judge to decide. Finally, the prosecutor said he didn't want to answer any questions about Andrew's mental state before or after the murder, but he did say that Andrew appears, quote, remorseful about the murders. I would fucking hope so.
So he feels bad.
He feels bad. Oh, so he ends up pleading to all this shit. In court, he says, quote, I intentionally killed my parents and entered their home to do so and took money and jewelry while there, is what he says in his whole, you have to do your elocution deal. The district attorney's office has recommended he receive 30 years in prison for each of the murders, with 10 years of each of those sentences overlapping concurrently for a total of 50 years, and also 3 years for burglary perjury that will be concurrent. Okay. So 50 years is what they're saying. He says Stan Butterfield is the district attorney. He seems like a fat bald guy with a mustache, doesn't he? He says, quote, I think people looking at all the facts at the end will believe we've acted in good faith and that justice has been served. If the family wants that of the victims, then I don't know really what you can say anymore.
Kind of there.
That's that. Who are you getting revenge for at that point, if not for them? If they don't want that, then why are you doing it? So Andrew could still be brought to trial, though, if he refuses. They are holding him because they're going to try Cindy now. So if he refuses to testify against Cindy, they could throw this whole thing out the window. So they're telling him he's got to get up in court and say, she told me the tree people said to kill my parents. So, at sentencing, the brothers here, Luke and Wayne, his two brothers, attended the sentencing for Andrew. Finally, when they do the sentencing. Also in the courtroom were, Marilyn's mother, Andrew's grandmother, also, her brother was there. So his whole family's there. And apparently the family, while he's been in jail, has remained in contact with Andrew through letters and phone calls, and they plan to visit him in jail after this court proceeding with the sentencing. They're the most supportive people in the world.
Unbelievable.
Some forgiving sons of bitches. They're turning the other cheek. Let's just say that.
Indeed.
At least they're putting their Christianity into practice and actually fucking
forgiving.
Forgiving and whatever. So they remain supportive of him. They asked that he be placed in a prison facility where he won't be easily influenced again. That's not going to happen.
Doesn't matter.
What do they have? A nice kid prison? There's no. Well, we've got the bad prison. Then we have the nice guy prison. Right. This is just like people who accidentally No, it's fucking prison.
This is the non-influence prison.
He's going to be influenced a lot. Imagine going from sheltered to that homeschool and farm to prison. You don't get any more people who are the most street smart, have been, on their own since they were 4.
The most master manipulators.
Yeah, the most, exactly, to this kid who could be manipulated for anything. They'll have him fucking stabbing people for an Aryan gang in 3 days in prison, this kid. So, Jesus Christ. His grandmother said, quote, she spoke in court and said, quote, I just wanted to say that this has been a year of shock, agony, and extreme grief over our loss, not only over my daughter and son-in-law, but really in the loss of my grandson, who I love dearly. The shock is because this is so completely unexpected from him. To me, he was a loving, dear, helpful grandson. I've had a terrible time trying to reconcile his actions until I heard more about Cindy's background and what she put him through with this spirit manipulation. And also, the brother Luke said that he hopes the sentencing brings closure to everybody and, all of that sort of shit. He just hopes that the family can move on once the sentencing happens. Now, his lawyer, Andrew's lawyer, said, quote, he's shocked that he did this and he's so horribly sorry that he did this. Even now he's in there crying his eyes out, talking about sentencing. So, he's the kid. I mean, he's a mess, this kid. They end up, they follow the recommendation and then you, young man, may fuck off 50 years in prison for old Andrew, who he got all of them here. Now, Beck ended up pleading also. She put up a plea deal because she was fucked. They would have made him testifying about the manipulation and the spirit tree people.
Can you imagine that trial?
Ooh, man, she would have been done. Yeah. I mean, she would have gotten the max. She would have got toasted here. So, she appeared in court for her sentencing behind a glass partition. She apologized to the Jondal family. She's not that stupid. She knows to do that shit in court. She says, quote, I'm very sorry for your loss. I know it's been a rough year for you. Wow.
Understatement, Shug.
I know shit's been rough for a while. Kind of my fault. My bad little bit.
I got something to do with it. I understand.
She said she didn't think that Andrew would go through with the murders in this statement. She said, I was wrong, and I'm most sorry for that. She said the Jondals seemed like sweet people. A lot of people said they were awesome. I wish I could have met them.
She said awesome?
She said a lot of people said they were awesome. I wish I could have met them.
Wow.
Well, you could have if you didn't kill them. Then you could have bought meat from them all you wanted.
If you didn't encourage the sons to get rid of them.
Christ almighty. So the judge hands down, you, ma'am, I don't like this lady. You, ma'am, may fuck off. 20 years in prison for her.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean, she didn't actually do it, but for that tree spirit shit and getting this kid to kill his parents, she deserves 20 years. Absolutely. And he deserves 50 for fucking bludgeoning his parents to death and hitting his dad in the face with a sickle, for shit's sake.
I'm certainly on board with those sentences.
Yeah, these are all fine. Now, in an interview after this is my favorite thing in the whole story, and better than the tree spirits. In an interview after sentencing, Luke Jondal, the brother, called Beck, quote, one of the stupidest adults I've ever met. The way he put that's amazing. She is one of the stupidest adults I've ever met. Not stupidest people. No. Stupidest adults. I want to clarify, just so you know. Kids are smarter than her.
One of the stupidest people that definitely should not be stupid at this point.
Yeah,
is stupid as fuck.
It's her.
Yeah,
and the grandparents and the mother's brother and everything said that they think that if it wasn't for Cindy, they don't think these murders would have occurred. They said, "quote We all feel she was really the one responsible. She was the one pulling the strings." They said, "quote This wasn't Drew. This wasn't Drew that did this. It was completely out of character. It wasn't Andrew at all. I felt it right away." Yeah. Well, this is true, but I think it's also just a lot easier for them to just blame it all on her and bring him back into the fold and go visit him and pretend everything's fine. That's just easier.
Meanwhile, he fucking did. It was his hand.
It's his hand that did a brutal thing.
The arms wrapped around you to hug you at visiting day, dude, are the ones that did that.
And it's one thing to convince someone to want to kill somebody, but for someone to actually go and do that sort of thing, to not hit his dad once and go, holy shit, what am I doing? Yeah. Stop and call 911 or something, but to just follow through with it and to sit outside, that's crazy, man. That's you. It's you're just as responsible. You're more. You did that. That's fucking horrible. We don't know if she's capable of that physically. Maybe that's why she was manipulating him to do it.
For rent, James.
For rent. For fucking $500 in rent. Wow. $500. This whole thing is for $500. This whole everything $500. It's crazy.
In the short term.
And long term.
Long-term?
Farm.
Whole farm.
Whole farm.
Jesus.
Well, third of a farm anyway. So, there's two other brothers.
Right.
So November 2012, you think that Cindy Lou is a bad person to begin with.
What did she do?
Let's find out how she's worse, okay?
Oh, God.
November 2012, a child comes forward. A child comes forward in 2012, and Cindy Lou Beck ends up pleading guilty while in prison for murder. Yeah. She pleads guilty to 2 counts of first-degree sodomy, admitting to sexually abusing a boy under the age of 16 for a 3-year period, starting in April 2007 and ending right before she met Andrew.
Oh, my God.
So she molested a boy under the age of 16 for 3 years and then met Andrew and was like, all right, well, he's close enough. Like, he's, like a child.
Yeah.
So this is good enough for me.
So then the kid didn't come forward for years?
The kid didn't come forward until 2011.
Jesus.
And then they did an investigation. And then in 2000, I think they had time. It wasn't like she was going anywhere. So they ended up charging her then finally. And she pled guilty to 2 counts of first-degree sodomy. And she is sentenced for that. You, ma'am, may continue to fuck off for 16 more years for sex abuse.
Holy shit.
Of a minor. So...
This should be much more, shouldn't it?
She got 20 for the murder and 16 for sex abuse, and 36 is a lot. But Jesus Christ, I mean 36, and she was 46 years old in 2010, so she's in her 50s, and she's got. I mean, she's
gonna die in that.
She's either that or she'll be in her 70s or something when she gets out. So it's not like she's gonna be on the prowl. I don't think or it's gonna be a lot harder for her to be on the prowl. A 75-year-old lady with a goatee is a little harder to pick up a dude, a 20-year-old or a child for that matter. She is sent to the Coffee Creek Correctional Facility in Wilsonville. That's where she is spending her time. Look up her goatee. It's glorious.
Is it?
But that is Dallas, Oregon. The end of the Oregon Trail, everybody. There it is.
The fuck did we just do?
Dude, was this one of the weirdest cases ever or what?
Weird as what have we done?
What have we done, Jimmy? What have we done?
I feel culpable,
dude. I read this story and I'm like, is this for real? What the fuck? Spirit, wood, trees, and wolves and pictures.
How do you do that to your parents in the first place? But how do you do it based on a ficus and a wolf?
I'm blown away by this whole story. But this was one of the weirdest stories we ever. This is small town murder. Yeah. People move from the big city. This is like a movie.
Yeah.
This is a weird horror movie.
Yeah.
Like people move from the small town. Man, we're leaving it behind.
Right.
I'm not going to have that corrupting influence of this around my kids. Going to move to a farm in the middle of nowhere where we're safe. And then your own kid fucking murders you. This is for rent money to live with some crazy lady who yells at the neighborhood children. That is insane. That's Dallas, Oregon, and Cindy Lou Beck and Andrew Jondal and poor David Scott and Marilyn Jondal. Those poor people. I feel bad for those people. They seem like nice people. It definitely didn't deserve to die. That's horrible. If you think it's horrible too, you know what you can do?
You can go to iTunes.
You can go to iTunes or Apple Podcast, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars, damn it. And, it doesn't matter what you say. Just tell us. You can say you're following instructions. I'm following directions, and we don't care. It doesn't matter to us. It's just it's drives us up the charts. That's all that matters. You can go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all your small town murder merchandise needs. Remember, the leggings are up, everybody. The leggings are here. The leggings are here. So go get your leggings and mugs and shower curtains and all that good stuff. Also, get your tickets to upcoming live shows. There's one on the calendar right now. We have a whole bunch more we're going to announce later on, but the one on the calendar right now is February 21st, West Palm Beach, Florida at the West Palm Improv. Get your asses down there to that. Also, while you're on there, you know what else you can do? Follow us on social media while you're there. What the hell? You can follow us at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Yes. You can do that there. Also there, you can follow links to donate to the show to become one of our producers, our favorite goddamn people in the world. And honestly, we appreciate every dollar you guys do, and we're definitely going to do a Patreon like bonus stuff for you guys that do that. We've been meaning to do it for a while, but we knew we had a network change coming and we had to do some bonus stuff for them.
Things have been fucked up.
So we didn't know what we had to do for them. So we figured out what that is. So now we can do something different for the Patreon bonus content for you guys. And, cause we just really appreciate you guys so much. And and we don't care, man. If people just give us $1 a month, we're fucking thrilled with that.
87 cents.
If everybody that listened gave us $1 a month, we would be doing great. And, Christ almighty, we'd be thrilled. Well, we're thrilled now, but we'd be doing backflips for Christ's sake. It doesn't matter. You don't have to give us anything, but I mean, everything you do give is super appreciated. That's all we're saying. Certainly. Whether you give us a thank you, whether you tell somebody, hey, you should listen to this show, or whether you give us money, we're fucking thrilled with any of it. Just thank you for your support and everything like that. And Jimmy, why don't you tell me about the group of people who we need to thank the most? Tell me, Jimmy, who have the woodland tree spirits told you are our producers this week?
This week's executive producers are Aaron Reisler. He donated twice. So
wow, thanks,
Aaron, you're a fucking hero. Thank you so
saint.
much. Jordan Bennett, she's fucking terrific.
Thank you, Jordan, for everything. Thanks for all the Twitter communication too. She's good shit.
And
Thank
happy
you, Jordan.
birthday again.
Hey,
we told you last
birthday.
week. We'll tell you again.
Hey.
Chrissy Ann Castaldi comes around every goddamn week still. She's
thank you, Chrissy.
Fantastic. And Crystal Gennaro.
Thank you, Crystal.
And she got a promotion. Good for her.
Good for you.
And
Congrats.
Samantha Bird also. Thank you guys
Samantha.
so much. Jacob awesome. Cornwell, Jenny Hummel, Jordan Moser, Jamie or Jaime During. I think it's Jamie. It's definitely. Is it?
Do you see a Spanish last name on the end?
No.
But we don't know. Could be a chick named Jamie. Could be a dude named Jaime. We have no idea.
Could be a dude named Jaime who changed his last name because he
fucking
trying to get
idea.
a better job and didn't want to get racially profiled.
Oh,
you know
my.
I mean?
That's
Those
possible.
Bastards.
Yeah.
Olivia.
By the way, he means the employers, not
Jamie.
not people, not Jaime's.
Olivia with no last name, Janice Hill, Chris with no last name, Leah Kelly, Bill Szynski, Talina Johnson. She's been around for since
thank you
2 years, I think.
Jesus, thank you.
Rick McAlpine. That's it. Or McAldine. Damn it. I think it's Alpine. Louise Rayfield or Lewis Rayfield.
I don't want to assume anything. Listen, it could.
Hey.
It looks like Louise. There's
I think
an
it's
E.
Louise.
I think it is.
Yeah, or Louise. If there's an E,
Louise. Yeah,
that's Louise. And
Thank
it's a
you,
woman.
Louise.
Yeah, Louise.
Faye Ferguson, Lauren Benner, Keith Cole. He's been around a long time. Also,
Thanks, Keith.
Lisa with no last name, Vanessa Kors, Ashley Collins in Colorado. Her mom Lisa is battling and kicking breast cancer's ass.
Good for her. We're rooting for her.
Good for you, Lisa. Keep going. Peter Cantor, Noah Chapman, Sharon Langany, right? Langone? I think it's Langany.
Okay.
John McTaggart, Taggart, like in Beverly
Hills Cop.
Yes. Rachel Stora, Paige Stupinski, Cara Herwig, Chase Pickenpaw. That's a...
Well, it's like Peckinpah.
Yeah.
A director.
Yeah. Same family. That's the guy.
Peckinpah. Made some good movies.
Rachel Newton, Martin Ramsauer, Paul Ruest. Thanks, Paul.
Paul again. Thanks, brother.
He's a good dude. That
Definitely.
guy's fucking fantastic.
We appreciate
I like
you.
him. Melanie Tomei, Samantha Anderson, James Stokely, Amy Hines, Jen Stevens, Molly Hewitt, Lee Stevens, or Steffens, Ashley Vio, Gary Lester. Ashley's she's here every week too.
Yeah,
Chris
you.
England, Jesse Hartman, every damn week. The guy's a fucking hero.
You guys are awesome, man. Thank you guys. Holy shit.
He wanted to have drinks. He was just in town, by the way.
Oh shit! When we were I remember that when we were in Seattle.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll be there the day you're gone. Like, damn it! Yeah.
The only time you can.
Yeah, the only time you'll be out of town. Yeah. Sorry,
El Madonna
brother.
K. I don't. El Madonna and then K.
Okay.
No, it's not spelled out.
Appreciate you.
Jamie Singh or Singe. I think it's Singh.
Singh,
Sean
probably.
Hartley, Joseph Kenny, Ace Murdoch. That's a bitchin' fucking name.
That's a fighter pilot name.
Iron Tree Craftworks, Tracy
Ace Murdoch.
Tracy Rector, damn near killed her, right?
I think
That's
so.
the joke.
No, Ace Murdoch Rector damn near killed her. Damn it.
Robert Lizuski, Stephen Greger, Simon Sheed, Joanne Music, Brendan Abels, again, dude.
Brendan, thanks, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Stephen Rude, Rick Bowersocks, Thomas Smith, Brittany Hydorn. I've called her, so her name is Norma, and I called her Norman because I'm a piece of shit.
Sure,
That's
an
what I am.
asshole.
So I'm sorry, Brittany. Jed Warwick, Eric Langenecker, Jonathan Nichols, Gary Howard, and he sent gifts. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate you,
Definitely.
buddy. Carrie Lippard, Haley Marble, Bethany McGee, Margie Coonsey, Nikki Cofill, Rachel Fanguy.
Okay.
Yep. Leisha Sincox, Matt Dietrich, Monica Bingham, Tara Jenkins, Megan Louise Hest, Lauren Demarath again, Ted Cyrus again, Aaron Ishik. Fucking, that's too many. It's
too many.
Thank you, Aaron. You know who you are. Kim Hodgkiss and Justin Miller. You guys, thank you so much. And Candace Kennedy sent a box of
thank you, Candace.
So much shit.
That was really cool.
Really appreciate
Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. Also, want to thank, shout out to our wrestling buddy, Cassius Ono.
Yeah.
There of NXT, WWE NXT.
Great, too.
Who always hits us up when we do wrestling episodes and gives us some good inside knowledge and just is a funny fucking guy that we really dig. So support that guy. He's a badass in the ring too.
Isaacs
He's fun.
is doing great too.
Yeah,
That
good
guy's
for
a
him too. Yeah, the couple guys we really like.
Couple dudes that wrestle that dig what we do.
We like
and
wrestlers.
And love hearing from them.
We always end up liking wrestlers,
Fuck
whether
yeah.
him or Cult or we
Great dudes.
like wrestlers. They're usually good dudes, and we like them. So thank you to them. Thank you, everybody, for all of your help and all of your giving a shitness about us. It means the goddamn world to us. And what if you meant the world to somebody out there, Jimmie? How could they tell you that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And you guys are truly some of the most engaged and give a shit people on
I
Earth.
would say.
And thank you guys for everything, for communication, for being a part of everything that we do. I appreciate it. Where can they find you?
Thank you. You guys, well, you can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description if you want to find me other places. But it's true. You guys are so goddamn engaged. Like for the dirty podcasts on Patreon, they're the ones that are not safe for work. We're one of the highest, not money wise, but patrons, like people that donate, people that give a shit. That's all we can. We look at the number of people who care, not the amount of money. We're like, that many people give a shit about us. That's incredible.
That's the best part.
And there, and like iTunes reviews, Small Town Murder was number 2 last year in 2018, most reviewed podcast on fucking iTunes in America.
You guys are a part of this. You own this show, and it shows.
And that's why we do what what we think you like. Right. And the show's for you guys. So thank you for everything you guys do for us so goddamn much. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus